Like, I think it's like, what, season 5, where they get the new uniforms and everything sort of starts.
Yeah, the seasons are really picking up. It's really getting good. Let's see. Let's see. My name is Ryan. My farm name will be Ryan's Farm. That seems appropriate. Star Trek is a good favorite thing. For sure. I'll go with the flop. We don't need the intro. Oh, game's freezing a little bit. You okay, game? Alright, welcome to our Stardew Valley stream. Today, 15 parsnips. Alright, I need to get those parsnips planted, but first I have to clear out a little bit of space for them. It's very important. You'll want to plant them ideally right in front of your house so you don't have to spend the time walking to them. It's very important. Well, it's not too important. You can kind of play how you like. 3, 4, 5. And I have 15, so that's a 5x3 plot. Okay. Excellent. 15 parsnips ready to go. Oh, gotta make sure to water them. That's very important. I mean, we could watch Star Trek, I guess, but why would we watch Star Trek when we can just play Stardew Valley? It's a good game. Stardew Valley's a great game. Now what do I do, though? Oh, you know what I should do? I should probably spend my first day and go to Pierre since it's Monday. He'll be open. And I can get some extra seeds to plant and get the economy rolling early. I'm gonna need to clear out a little more space for that. There we go. I'll get this out of the way. Oh, missed a fiber. Anyway, how are things going with you guys? What's up? What's going on? What's the deal? How's the weather? Don't worry though, everything's gonna be fine in terms of, you know, Star Trek. Doesn't open till 9 a.m. Come on, Pierre. Come on. Who's that? Shane? Shane's the worst. Is that Shane? I think that's Shane. Or are you Shane? Wait, they look the same. They look the same. Okay, this is Shane. I don't know you. Why are you talking to me? Well, screw you too, Shane. Why is he such a jerk? Yeah, don't worry. Everything's going to be fine. Jadzia, in particular, is going to be fine. She has a contract, and Rick Berman certainly would do nothing about her. Don't worry about it. How do I access my journal? F? Cultivate and harvest a parsnip. Anyway, 2.5 minutes till we start Star Trek. So everyone be queued up to that. Ooh, oh, potatoes. Definitely potatoes. I can afford exactly 10 potato seeds. Yes. Good. You know, we can just chill out a little bit with some Stardew before, you know, nothing happens to Jadzia. She's going to be fine. Don't worry about it. Everything's fine. Now, can I get these potatoes planted before the 2 minutes is up? It's going to be a little bit of a rush. Alright. Hardcore speedrun Stardew Valley. Quickly. Quickly. When you're using the tool, it doesn't count as time. So you gotta keep going. Just keep using the hoe and the watering can. And yes, you can use the watering can before you plant the seeds. It's fine. Okay. We got some potatoes. Jadzia has a contract, but does Terry? Yeah, Terry has a contract. Don't worry about it. She's fine. It's 10 a.m. I think this is a good time to go to sleep. That seems good. Alright, how are they looking? How are they looking? Ooh, they're growing a little bit. And we got mail. Just got back from a fishing trip. You should come down to the beach sometime. I've got something for you. Willie. No thank you, Willie. Go ahead and get rid of Stardew. And everybody be queued up to Season 6, Episode 26 of DS9, Tears of the Prophets. Should be the first episode for today. The first of 3. What are the other ones again? Image in the Sand. I can never remember the names of these ones. Image in the Sand and Shadows and Symbols. Where Image in the Sand, I think that's the one where Cisco's all depressed, and then Shadows and Symbols is where he gets over it. He has depression for one episode. 1.5. But it's fine. He got better.
That's really funny.
You say so.
It was only
All right.
for one episode.
Yes.
Like a hyper
Everybody,
straightforward.
get ready to press play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. All right. Stardew's gone, and we're back with the actual stream. Peldor Joy, Emissary. Peldor Joy, what does that translate to? Is it
Yeah,
just
never heard
Happy
that
Holidays in Bajoran?
before.
If only there was like a direct translation for Bajoran, like there is for Klingon.
Windex, you're a little bit low.
Oh, whoops. Sorry.
Okay, now you're better.
Ah, it boosted your volume to compensate, and now we have to get it back down. Okay, it should be fine.
Compensating. Is this after Oh, never mind.
This is after most things, because we're at the end of Season 6. The season
Oh, this was
finale.
I thought this was after that one episode where Odo accidentally has 3 people executed for.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he definitely did that already.
Yeah.
He also betrayed the Federation and Bajor. He committed
he's
treason a couple of times.
Yeah, he is a collaborator, basically, isn't he?
But it's
Yeah,
fine.
and
He and Kira are dating now.
yeah, but and he betrayed Kira, which is like the worst. He was just like, who?
Yeah.
All my friends, family, who?
Personal
happens
acts
to the
of
best of us.
bravery. Oh, I don't think Odo's gonna get a medal. Cisco gets a medal. The
It's named after
Christopher
Christopher
Pike
Pike.
something.
Medal of Honor. People love to hate Discovery. I want to say I love what Discovery did with the Christopher Pike arc. I don't think anybody would have the guts to go back in time and knowingly undergo a horrific accident because the timeline required it.
Now, I don't want to say he's my favorite because we've only had one season of him. I'll reserve judgment for when we actually get the Strange New Worlds. But Captain Pike, definitely up there in terms of best captains, favorite captains. Original Captain Pike was kind of weird, and he had that whole thing about, I can't get used to a woman on the bridge. This Christopher Pike, pretty good.
Yeah. But also, you have a character, you have a plot, and for you to make that plot somehow better and more amazing is like an amazing act of writing.
I even liked the Star Trek 2009 Christopher Pike. I thought he was pretty good too. Better than the original for sure, but the original had one episode and it was even a rejected episode.
Yeah.
So there's not much to go on there. But yeah, should be good. Well, I guess 2, technically.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Why couldn't he get used to having a woman on the bridge? What about Uhura? Was Uhura not there in that pilot episode? Because she was on the bridge, wasn't she?
Yeah, I like to think that in the future they somehow have gotten so past all of the the sexist connotations that I'm not used to having a woman on the bridge implies, and that it just to us now seems like really off-colored jokes, but to them it's just like, oh, I'm not,
I mean, in fairness, that was the pilot episode, and
yeah.
Also, by the way, he had a woman first officer, so it was the studio that also had a problem with it, not so much as, let's say, Gene Roddenberry.
Yeah, wasn't he in a open relationship with Uhura and the computer voice or something?
Majel Barrett, yeah.
Yeah.
Look, it's a TV set. You fall in love with your coworkers. Bashir and Kira hooked up. It happens. You know, you marry your acting crewmate. You got to act in intimate situations. Things get hot and heavy.
Oh, exactly. It's just more dedication you can have. Like more oh god, what's it called? Method acting.
In TV, also, Joe Scarborough and Micah Brzezinski married. You know, so if you're coworkers, you wind up. Garrick's in this episode.
Oh, perfect. Video favorite.
Will you
Anyway, so
mark
yeah,
a
that's
Lionel?
Star Trek the original series. It's, weird. It's an odd series, and we're
Like,
we're going to be
you're right.
watching
I'm
that pretty
sorry.
soon.
Right. To add to that, like, because he says we just came from Rigel, and he's thinking about like leaving the starship. That's what he tells the old doctor, in the first scene with Christopher Pike in the menagerie or whatever.
Old Christopher Pike, he kind of looks like every other man in the 60s. Like
Yeah,
him, Christopher Pike and Zephram Cochrane, and I
yeah,
assume the Doctor when he was younger, they all kind of look identical. They have this
yeah,
exact same structure.
yeah.
I can't tell them apart.
I know. Like all the Air Force men who in the Quark goes back in time to Roswell episode, they kind of look alike.
It's a very 60s look.
Yeah.
Back when you started smoking when you were 12.
What was up with
Like,
did just everyone look the same in the 60s? I assume that's just a remnant of what people find attractive in TV casting.
what was that other 60s sci-fi show? Tomorrow is Yesterday or something, and it had like a really handsome lead guy. Like
Lost in
that looked.
Space.
No, it was called Tomorrow is Yesterday. It was like a secret mission show. I think. But
Oh yeah, the Romulans are at war now because the whole lion thing.
Garrick thing. That was like 3 episodes ago.
That's racist.
I mean, there's a history from going back to the TOS era with the bird of prey and cloaking devices.
You still can't just say that. Oh, Romulans are untrustworthy. You can't say that.
We gave them the bird of prey, and they gave us the cloaking device. And then we were never friends after that.
So Kanar with Damar.
That rhymes.
This setup is really good because it's like Cisco sees a tactical opening, and then it's revealed here that we have
Not as vulnerable as you think.
right.
I feel like we should still have starships to protect Chinchaka, though. The defense platforms aren't working yet.
Right.
Why give them that opening? Just leave it defended for like 4 more hours. Me. Oh, I didn't mention it, but I'm remembering all the lines I used for the 12 Days of Star Trek Christmas. It's like, oh, that's one I used. Gold Ducat. Cardassia gave to me, Ducat says. I guess he's technically allowed in because he's still technically a gull. Or a legate, I'm not actually sure. I think he had the authority of a legate, but he just liked the term gull, so he kept it.
Yeah, he says
Mhm,
it's
mhm.
like very hands-on.
Yeah, and he brings up Zial here, so he's obviously cracked. He's just not showing it on the outside.
He's already dead, right? I mean, spoilers.
Yeah, Zial is dead, and Gul Dukat is dead inside. He already had his
Yes.
mental breakdown episode in... I don't remember what it's called. The one with Cisco where he goes crazy and sees people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then here though he says my revenge against Captain Cisco.
Yeah.
Complete clarity. Seems legit.
He's even more crazier than ever.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate, Wei-Yun.
Mm-hmm.
Very deluded, very mad. Actually, he's not
Good
mad. He's
writer.
actually pretty chill.
He's completely crazy. He's saying I see things clearly now, and have to share that with the galaxy. It sounds like a cult already.
He's going to deliver unto them the Alpha Quadrant. Not the Beta Quadrant, though. Just the Alpha Quadrant. Nobody cares about Beta.
Yeah, Klingons could stay over there. I can. They're cool.
Nobody wants the Klingon Empire. It just smells. Every Klingon planet you go to, there's blood everywhere, gack, and there's bits of
God.
leg around the place. It's just awful.
Hey, Michael.
Hello.
Oh,
Howdy. Once and
We're gonna
for
get
all.
rid of the Federation once and for all, Mike.
So, Gul Dukat looks very different in this episode.
Excelsior class.
Even his facial structure looks different. I guess it's just the way he holds himself, the way he
Yeah.
angles his head. He looks
I think also
thinner.
the camera was a little bit down, like downwards than it usually is. But that's a good observation because you're right. Even the makeup and the plastic rubber things look different.
He's like he's tilting his head down slightly and looking up at people
Yeah.
instead of
yeah.
holding himself high and mighty.
Right. It's a good observation.
Yeah, we haven't seen a triangle in like 2 months now. It's ridiculous. I was excited for these seasons. They were supposed to be the best seasons, but there's no triangles in them.
I don't think the triangles on all the Starfleet deltas.
Those are we just want the triangle ship though. Not just any triangle.
Probably has
Yeah, no,
changed
that's
their
also
uniforms.
racist. You can't say that.
It's actually a funny thought though, but it's how to insult your opponents. Every zoo should have a pair of you too. But,
But you could replace the word Klingon with, for example, like Japanese. It's like, nope, can't say that. That's a bad thing.
It reminds me of the Yalta conference where Churchill, FDR, and Stalin met in Tehran. No, in Yalta, which is off the coast. And then there's also Tehran conference and Potsdam also. So they met 3 times on how to prosecute the war. And they won, but basically Roosevelt had to tell Stalin, yeah, you can take Eastern Europe, and that's how it's gonna go.
No choice but to surrender. You say that. Yeah, the Dominion currently only has the resources that were available to the Cardassians. And I guess their tech is just so much better that they can stand up to these 3 massive empires surrounding them.
It kind of sucks that we never get to see more of like the Dominion in the Gamma Quadrant. Like what planets look like under Dominion control, and
Yeah.
is
We
it
see a couple
really
planets
terrible?
under Dominion control, and they're
Well,
awful.
Yeah, well, that's like the. I think we see what the.
We see the planet with the
backlash.
plague, and we see
Mhm.
the Dozai with their Tulaberry wine.
Oh yeah, yeah.
What? That's
Here's to the losers, bless them all. Are you
right. And here, Quark and Bashir are moping about the fact that they could never get with Dax.
What was Frank Sinatra even talking about? What does he mean, bless the losers? You can't... I'm getting mixed messaging from you, Frank.
The writers are having such fun with us. I mean,
It feels like what the song is about is saying, like,
yeah.
oh, bless their hearts. Their lives are so simple and uncomplicated because they have nothing to do. They just sit
No,
alone in their rooms.
There's one line though about how the situation will reverse, that they'll be winners and they're gonna get it all. So
Yeah,
every dog has his day. Every dog has his day. That's the moral of the song.
The meek shall inherit the earth. That's what he's going with.
Uh, okay, look, Julian does shack up with Ezri next season, so say whatever you want.
Does he?
He's
He
got
does.
game.
Oh my god, I don't even remember.
Those
It's
spots
it's
go
in
all
like
the way down.
2 episodes.
It's in the last
very
episode.
end.
Basically, in the last episode, he gets Ezri.
Man.
I'm not know if I would use the phrasing "gets Ezri." You can't acquire a woman. Unless you're a Ferengi.
Acquire many things depending on what species you are.
Okay, he gets some from Ezri.
That's... Oh, whatever. Okay, space is big, yes. Wow. There are plenty of fish in the sea, you say. Not on the station, there's not.
It's off topic, but are the
Yeah.
fish guards tank real?
Where did this guy get his bartending skill from?
From Felix.
Yeah. Other fish in the sea doesn't comfort anyone when you're heartbroken.
The band doesn't exist, Vic. They're not real people.
That's hilarious, though. That's a great line.
Gaslight a holodeck character into like you're not real. You're just photons held together by magnetic fields. You're nothing. And then
Yeah, but you're starting to depress the band.
Photons
so...
and force fields. God, don't report what you're talking to your dad about.
This is a great scene.
It's classified, Jake. Shut up. A savage thrust into the very heart of the Dominion.
Because he's right. It is a savage thrust.
Mr. Windex, we're getting some static from you.
sorry. Yeah, my mic's pretty terrible.
You need to put some Windex on it. By the way, being a war correspondent is a very dangerous job.
And it's not like you can slap a press logo on the side of a starship. You just get blown up anyway.
TV.
Oh.
I don't think the Dominion gives out press passes.
Cisco. No, I think the Dominion does give out press passes. Remember when they took the station?
Okay.
They were totally happy with Jake. They were fine.
Okay, never mind.
I don't
You're
care.
right. They honored the press. Okay.
They didn't let the press actually report on anything, but they didn't kill them at least.
So this is truly accurate how religious revelation works. You just get this like vague warning, and it's like, okay, if you really knew what was up, you would tell me what's up. But instead, you're just like,
why do they gotta be so dramatic all the time? Just say what you mean, prophets. Use your words.
I always thought it was funny that they just turned up the lights a little bit and then put some Vaseline on the lens and used all of the regular actors to do the prophecies.
That's good enough.
Like, can you pick a more budget choice?
Yeah, they didn't even have to use Vaseline.
They have space battles in this
could have
episode.
been post-processing Vaseline.
But that's a good observation, Mike, because that's exactly what they did. They went to the ops and they filmed the scene.
This guy looks a lot like Senator Vreenak to me.
Yeah, I thought it was him too. The late Senator Vreenak.
He's a fake Vreenak.
Yeah. Thank you, Michael.
You're welcome.
Hey, that was good.
Leave first thing in the morning. Why can't they leave right now? In fact, if they did leave right now, that would avoid the whole situation that comes up later.
That's why they have to leave first thing in the morning.
Why does it have to be first thing in the morning? Why not right now? They have the fleet. It's already there.
I think like Jake asked, when are we leaving? And
now is when we're leaving, Jake.
Bags. Yeah, keep your bags packed. Like, because I'm not at liberty to say when we're leaving. Because you're a journalist, and I don't want you to put that in the paper tomorrow morning.
Oh no, I got an email saying my PayPal account has been limited with a very fancy font it has. Wow. I should click on this link to log into PayPal that goes to metoo.do. That seems like a good idea. I like how in this spam email I just got, I don't know why I'm checking my email right now, but I am. In the spam email, there's the phrase at the bottom, learn how to spot phishing in blue, like a hyperlink. It's not actually a link, it's just blue words.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got a text message saying, we need your unemployment benefits information. And when you go to it, it looks just like a New York State.gov website asking for your username and password.
Why would you click on it?
I got a text message. It must be legit.
All right, finally, someone is standing up to Cisco. I was like, look, you gotta stop with the religious revelations thing. Pick a lane.
No, he's horrible right here. He causes what's gonna happen because he's like, look, either you're the emissary or you're the captain, but I can't let you do both. It's like, why you gotta put his back up against the wall like that? Cisco was not supposed to go on this mission, and Admiral Ross is responsible for Jadzia. Never mind.
I don't think Cisco would have stopped Jadzia dying.
Yeah, it would have.
I don't know that that's implied.
To stop Jadzia dying, he would have to either stop her from going into the temple, which it doesn't seem like he had anything to do with that, or he'd have to be in the temple with her, in which case Dukat would just kill him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, how does Dukat have magic space powers? Is it from this box? Does this box give him magic space powers?
Yes. So you'll see what happens here in a minute, but like basically he breaks open this really old doll and there's a paw wraith inside.
Oh, yeah. Why do the paw wraiths love candles so much? Is that necessary?
Doesn't like it.
Yeah.
Especially if they're scented.
Well, they come from the fire caves.
The fire caves? But there's not even fire there. They're just empty caves.
True. Well, there's CGI fire at the end.
Is that what the paw wraith looks like? That's an ugly wraith. It's actually really easy to fight a god. We established like 2 or 3 times that we can kill them.
So I think this is called a seance, where like you say a magic incantation to invoke the dead.
I mean, that's if it's invoking the dead, but are they really invoking the dead here? I think he's
no,
just...
he's a ghost.
Some kind of demon or something.
He's a ghost, but he's not a dead ghost. He's a permanent ghost.
Yeah.
Eternal ghost.
Well, it implies that they are whatever the prophets are, but they were just sent down, like the Olympian gods versus the Titans. They're all sons of Kronos.
Why do the paw wraiths sound like that? What are they doing to his vocal cords?
Paw wraiths need a cough drop.
They do.
Wait, but I'm. If Cisco didn't go, Jadzia went to the temple to pray for a baby or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, because
Anyway.
her and Worf couldn't have kids or
Yeah.
something.
Well, look, Klingon babies have a giant cranium. Okay, I'll just say that.
All the Regis kinda.
But you gotta feel for Samantha Wildman. Her baby had horns.
Yeah.
That would not have been.
It's the worst. No, change the subject. What are they? I don't even know what they're fighting about. Oh, right, the Vedic.
You think Odo's baby would be easy to deliver? Let me shut up.
Oh my god.
God.
I think Odo should have arrested the Vedic. Vedic or not, he was in violation of station regulations. The law applies to everyone, Kira.
Yeah, but you know what's funny? Odo, like, what's implied here is Odo doesn't know how to handle a domestic dispute because, like, she was just mad at him for something, and he thought she was breaking up with him. Although, in fairness to Odo, Kira was really mad at the beginning. She was like, "Goodbye, Odo. I'm not talking to you right now."
She was also really mad when he committed treason, but she got over that pretty quick.
Yeah, that's true.
Also seem to forget that he collaborated with the Cardassians for about like 4 or 5
Yeah, that's, and he threw Rom overboard like big time.
Kira has really low standards, I guess.
She's a resistance fighter, right? So
Look, once you forgive your partner for like the worst thing imaginable, then everything else has to slide. Okay, like there's no point in you putting your foot down for like little stuff.
Not this time, Kira.
Oh, Lawrence Krauss, like 2 decades ago, he's a famous physicist now, but back in the day, he was just like a science writer, and so he wrote a book called the he wrote the physics of Star Trek, but there was another group of people who wrote the biology of Star Trek. So in general, in like the animal kingdom, when you have a horse and a donkey, they make a mule, and usually mules are sterile. So it's not that like Worf and Jadzia couldn't have a kid, but the idea would be that like because maybe it wouldn't be like a fully
I mean, I think they
developed.
probably couldn't have a kid. They're completely different species from different planets.
Yeah,
B'Elanna
Yeah, but
Torres
we've
exists.
established
Yeah.
that all of the humanoid species come from one specific species that seeded the universe, or at least
Yeah.
many planets.
I mean, that's not how evolution works, though. I guess that's how Star Trek evolution works.
Yeah. right.
True,
No,
but
we have interspecies children all the time in Star Trek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like who was it? Sela, Tasha Yar's kid.
Yeah.
Sela, yes.
Sela.
Sela.
I mean, that's also established. It's not like Romulan human is not that different than Vulcan human.
But I see what you mean. The
you-
further you
what do you
go
mean?
back,
But Vulcan human
don't
also needed medical intervention as established in Enterprise.
Sure, yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, but I mean, Klingons, Romulans, and Vulcans, they all and humans came from the same thing. So we've all had the exact same time to evolve. So Romulans are just as genetically distinct from humans as Klingons are. Just wagering.
that's true. And a good way to look at it is the further back you go in the genealogy, the harder it is for those species to procreate. So, I mean, if our genetic material goes back way that far from just one species, like we're going to be so different, even if we share the same genetic code,
Origin.
the same
sure, yeah.
building blocks.
So are all the half species children we see in Star Trek like sterile, basically? Maybe like what they can't reproduce.
That would be implied.
So
But
I'm
actually, so the
thinking
crazy-
if species are really close, and that's the implication for why they should be able to interbreed. I don't know if it's been tested, but I doubt if humans could breed with monkeys. I don't think we
With
should
All
test
the
that.
advances we've seen
we shouldn't test it.
with Star Trek technology, it's not inconceivable to consider that they have developed a pretty standard way of getting around those genetic.
Oh, they absolutely have. That's
abnormalities.
firmly
Yeah,
established.
But what we've never seen before is like a half human, half Cardassian with a half Klingon, half Vulcan baby.
Alright.
So it'd be
That'd
like
be
a
a pretty
quarter of.
impressive 200% baby.
Oh
hey,
yeah,
Jarix. Yeah.
exactly.
But actually, so the thing is though, the amazing thing I learned though, there are some there are some mules that are not sterile. So like on occasion, you can even have a fertile. Actually, so the funny thing is though, if it's a male horse and a female donkey, it's called a mule. But if it's a female horse and a male donkey, it's called a hiney. And but so there are some mules that can be sterile, but hineys are always infertile, I think.
Okay, we're getting slightly off topic. Let's get back to the episode. Oh, look, it's a
Yeah,
big war.
We just saw an Excelsior class get a hole punched right through it.
Yeah, and we're going to reuse that shot repeatedly.
I don't know about that one. They do use the Miranda one repeatedly, though.
Okay.
Did you know what a hiney was though before, Ryan?
Ah, Wraith. I've heard the term, though maybe not in that particular application.
Okay, great CGI. I agree.
The founders are gods.
The founders are less godlike than the prophets.
They are.
Deadpan. But here's the thing though.
Oh no.
You're talking to a Vorta.
Was that an Akira that just bit the dust?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then there's a Vorcha going down. Yeah, they're losing a lot of people. Maybe if they
What-
just left like 5 hours earlier, like if they left immediately, maybe that would be better.
This is the first all CGI battle we get.
Watching these scenes, it makes sense that they would be reluctant to remaster Deep Space Nine into HD because those CG scenes, while they look acceptable for the time, they're not exactly holding up.
I think they look
Yeah.
pretty good.
They're
But
good.
then I don't watch a whole lot of new stuff. Most of the stuff I watch is from the 90s.
So if it's a male Trill and a female Klingon, it would be a different.
No, I don't think that's
No,
how
let
it
me shut
works with sentient species, sapient species.
up. Okay.
I mean, we already have precedent for at least two interspecies individuals able to have children. Kalar, for one,
Yeah,
and B'Elanna. I believe she's pregnant at the end
Yes.
of Voyager.
she is.
Yes. Spock.
Not just
Well,
pregnant, the baby gets born right in the last like 3 minutes of the episode.
Oh, yeah.
Seska has a baby too, right?
Yes, with a Kazon.
Yeah. I don't know
Jadzia,
how-
why do you have a gun?
I don't think it was a Kazon baby. I think she says that it was Chakotay's
Oh,
DNA.
She
they
says it
also
was
have big
Chakotay's, but they do
craniums.
genetic analysis and figure out it's with the Ogla.
Yeah. She was.
Do they? I don't remember
She
that.
was just after the child support from Chakotay.
$100 a month is life changing.
Yeah, why does
Oh.
Jadzia have a gun in the temple? What's that for?
Stay strapped all the time. Never.
That explains the next bit of the scene. Heresy.
Oh, it's spooky inside now. So that's why she had a gun, just for this, but it didn't help.
I would have to go back and watch, but I don't remember if on-duty officers during wartime always have to carry a sidearm.
I'm trying to scroll back a little bit. She had a gun on the promenade, and so did Julian, actually.
Yeah, it makes sense, Mike. So, Dukat has the ability to like transport on Deep Space Nine at any time and transport off.
Or was he on a ship?
Yeah,
I mean,
but
that
I'm
was a
saying-
Dominion transporter signal, and we already know that their transporters are ridiculous.
Okay. Yeah, like when they that was a Section 31 holodeck program, but when they kidnapped Julian off the thing.
Well, that's not. Yeah, that
Yeah.
wasn't Dominion. That was Section 31. We don't even
Yeah.
know specifically what technology Section 31 has for transporters, but
This isn't long
we have
range.
we have proof in multiple episodes that the Dominion transporters work at extreme range.
Do
Yeah.
we? I'm remembering the one where Julian's a traitor, but that was a holodeck.
So the first instance that we see a Dominion transporter working at an unknown range, which was probably extreme, is the first time we met a Vorta. Eris just beams
Oh,
off
yeah.
the station. as soon
Oh,
as she's
and
revealed.
Covenant, was that a Dominion transporter
Yeah.
when they take Kira to Terok Nor? No, not
Empok
Terok
Nor.
Nor. Empok Nor.
Yeah,
Is
Empok
that
Nor. That is
Dominion?
also a Dominion transporter, yes, but that hasn't happened yet. That's
No.
coming later this season.
Good episode, though.
But there's that. There's also like a ton of instances where a
Yeah.
Dominion person just transports away where there's no obvious ship to pick them up.
Yeah.
Yeah, also, yeah, it's true. Odo does say he doesn't allow weapons on the promenade, but then all his deputies are armed. So, more Odo
I mean,
hypocrisy.
Just a Federation.
That's-
anyways.
It's a little different. Like, you can't have a gun in a major city, but obviously the police are going to be armed.
Well, Odo never uses a phaser either.
But
He
it
should,
is
though.
like what is that movie Demolition Man, where like the future is like the police don't even carry guns, and the joke was in the old like British era, the Bobby would just have like a stick, and he would just say "Stop in the name of the law."
Well, I mean, London police officers are still not armed.
Yeah.
Yep. In fact, no one in the UK besides Northern Ireland, the sort of regular beat cops carry guns.
Speaking of Ireland, we're 3 years away from the Irish reunification of 2024.
Uh-oh.
We're almost there.
It's gonna be sooner.
It's weirdly plausible.
So
If Starfleet,
I don't
if Star
wanna-
Trek gets that right, it's gonna be amazing.
That would be-
Very
I love-
troubling, because then that means we're gonna like go into what, a nuclear holocaust soon
Well,
after?
first we-
Yeah, but that's
it
in like
has-
20. That's in like 7 years. We've got time.
This 4th of July was the 25th birthday of America, and so but in Star Trek, the USA doesn't live to its 300th birthday. So nice while it lasted. We got about 75 years left, folks.
That's fine. I'll be dead by then. Probably. Almost certainly.
We'll be part of the Eastern Coalition.
All right. Wait, what happened to all the CGI weapons platforms in the background? Why did they just all disappear when it flashed to white for a second?
Yeah.
So this is like Star Wars when they blow up the Death Star. Almost, you just find the chink in the armor, the weak point, and all the robots die. Or in episode 1 when they
I
turn
think
off
you're
the,
mixing movies there.
Okay,
The
but how
Death
about
Star and the
episode-
droid control ship.
Yeah, no, it's the same thing though, because like George Lucas actually modeled episode 1 based on A New Hope. He mentions that in the making of episode 1. So but yeah, that's the thing though. All you do is like that's how you defeat technology. You press the off button. I mean, not for
Yes,
nothing, Game of Thrones.
Wei Yun, that is a
but-
very succinct assessment of the situation. Thank you for that exposition. Just in case we missed it. Which we did, for sure.
He destroyed the wormhole, right?
Wormhole is gone. Yeah, well, it shut it off
He-
for a bit.
Yeah.
It's closed.
And he
They're
killed
busy
Dax.
inside.
He killed Dax.
It's the most important thing.
No, he didn't. He didn't kill Dax.
He didn't kill Dax.
Dax is fine.
It was the studio that killed Dax.
No, Dax is fine.
There's no reason to blame Ducat.
Dax is not dead.
Sorry.
Neither is Jadzia, strictly speaking. But, you know,
I can't do the Stovacore scream on air right now.
no. Absolutely
Okay.
not. No
'Cause she's not
screaming
dead.
into your microphone.
She's not dead.
It's been great for all the viewers on YouTube. All of us just cling on, death scream into our mics.
My parents are gonna ask if I'm okay. Why did you issue the most?
Where did they go, emissary? Where are the prophets? Why have they abandoned... Your gods have abandoned you, child. They don't love you anymore.
I mean, it's a
Help
wonder they
us.
didn't stone him as soon as he came in through the door.
Help us, emissary.
That's usually what
You
happens
are
to
only hope.
prophets who are cut off from gods.
So,
See?
is it that the prophets are currently busy with, like, a civil war in the wormhole? They're doing something else right now? They're busy?
What orb was that? That was the orb of murder, commerce,
the orb of...
time controller.
The orb of
chronology.
fertility.
Okay. What?
Well, because she was praying to them about the baby.
Okay.
I don't remember which one they keep on the station.
I remember
It's-
they said the phrase orb of contemplation, but I think that was a joke because
Yeah.
someone was lost in thought.
It was the orb of contemplation.
I think that was a joke.
No, it was one of
Nope.
the 9 original.
It is the orb of contemplation according to the
Thank-
memory alpha page.
What does that
Thank you,
even
Ryan.
mean? You look into it and then you just get transported into a blank room so you can sit and think for a while outside of time?
I mean,
Oh, okay.
Like
Contemplation.
that.
Oh, our baby would have been beautiful. That okay. Bad writing, guys. That shouldn't have been her last words.
I mean,
Why? What's wrong with that?
that's
That's pretty
just
legit.
say
Because it
That's
was too much.
poignant.
Baby.
The whole reason they had her, the intent of
Die.
having a baby was to make this extra tragic.
Mhm. So she really wanted a baby, huh?
Well, yeah, she was going to Julian for medical intervention specifically so she could have a baby. I would assume she wants it.
I remember doing the ritual for Jadzia after I watched this episode, like in 1999, in my
That's
seventh
weird.
grade class. Yeah, in my 7th grade class, and then I banged my head on the table, and the teacher told me to stop.
But
I got the other kids doing it too.
I have so many questions, but I don't know if I want the answer. So anyway, Jadzia is dead. Dax isn't,
Socially
though.
awkward.
Dax is fine. Kind of.
Such a
I have a rough time getting back to Krill, but
this feels like Tasha's death.
That
It's
hasn't
like
happened yet.
meaningless. Like
There's not even any
why?
Windows XP here. It's just the sick bay. How come we don't get a proper funeral for Jadzia? I guess it'd be weird to have a funeral for Jadzia when we're just getting Dax again in the next episode. Okay, now what you do is you put Jadzia into the replicator, and then you can
And she's her own funeral
you can use
dinner.
part of her energy to create like a little necklace or something. Make a little badge for his bandolier. And then you can use the rest of her energy for food and boots and parts.
You know, in Dune, the Freemen, the desert people, they suck the moisture out of a dead body because they live in a desert society and they need moisture like that badly. So I don't think Starfleet would ever get that bad that you have to recycle your loved ones.
But why would we not recycle our loved ones? It's free energy.
That's the
And-
thing, right? You gotta have like loads of energy for a post-scarcity economy.
And the thing is though, when Discovery brings up the fact that like they turn their waste into their apples,
Which they absolutely
It's-
should. I don't know why anyone would complain about that. That's just recycling.
you know, it's funny because I saw Bill Gates. There was a giant thing to turn urine waste back into water, and Bill Gates like inaugurated by drinking the first glass of water, and he drinks it. He says, "That's water."
Astronauts already do that.
Yeah,
I mean, everybody already does that. That's the whole point of a waste treatment
water
plant.
reclamation.
Water
Well,
reclamation.
Well, waste treatment pumps it into the ocean with detergent. But yeah, water reclamation. Look, at some point, the rain was some fish's urine anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Everything's recycled. It doesn't matter.
Yes, yes. The soil that your plant grew in was from the carcass of a bison.
Your vegetables are fertilized with feces. It's fine.
Cow manure is great for the soil. It's fine.
Why is Cisco taking a day off? Well, more than a day off. Why is Cisco taking a year off? He's on sabbatical because he's sad?
Admiral Ross pushed him in a corner and said, "You can't be the emissary and you can't be a captain." And now Jadzia is dead, and now I need to go home and have some Cajun food. Like I
Why
said,
is Jake
it's
going
just like
home?
it. Right, he was supposed to cover.
What's
the
wrong
war.
with him? Why can't he stay on the station? I thought he wanted to report on the war. You're not going to get
There's
any
no
news
reason-
on Earth.
There's no reason for Jake to go. You're right. He's not upset over Jake.
It's so they can be sad together.
So to see Grandpa. I love Grandpa. He's like the Loak Sana of Deep Space Nine.
Right. Kira also has a gun. Odo doesn't have a gun. But Odo never has a gun. He should have a gun. He'd be so
This is
effective with
crazy.
it. He could hold so many guns at once.
He's so depressed, Cisco, right now. Because of that baseball.
Odo, oh my
Company
god.
gun.
If you bring Odo to a war, Odo can shapeshift like 30 hands and wield so many guns at once.
Yeah.
And he doesn't actually have real eyes because he's a shapeshifter. He sees things even when he's a blob. He could shoot in all directions with 30 different guns at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Use many guns on many men.
Yeah.
But he's
And he's
wearing.
really hard to kill.
I can't believe we have like the most prestigious Starfleet captain dressed in kitchen scrubs and hot water cleaning spoons right now.
No, he's clean clams.
Oh, that's what he's doing. Okay.
I think those are potatoes, aren't they?
I've never done
No,
that.
they're well, those might be potatoes. In the next episode, they're clams.
The father yells at him for the way he cleans the clams.
I don't know if they're just using a potato as a prop to stand in for clams.
Budget cuts.
As with yesterday, Netflix warning. There is a recap at the beginning of the next episode, even though this technically isn't a two-parter, and it will automatically skip.
Okay, so if you're on Netflix, just click play and let it auto skip, and then rewind back to the start.
Is this episode 1 or 2 we're doing?
Season 7, episode 1, Image in the Sand.
Congratulations, chat and fellow Discord members. We have made it through 7 seasons of 6 seasons
6.
of
Yeah.
Star Trek Deep Space Nine and TNG.
Congratulations to everyone.
Congrats.
And then once we finish this, we can start all over again.
What I'm saying is, I go back to work, next week, every other week. So it lined up like perfectly. I got to see pretty much the whole series with you guys. It's amazing.
1 minute to the next episode. Everyone be queued up. Again, if you're on Netflix, then let it play. Just do its auto skip, then scroll back. Yada yada.
Jadzia's death was so senseless, just like Tasha's. But Tasha's came in season 1. This came in like season 7.
I mean, it's because she left the show because they wouldn't let her,
Yeah.
Thanks,
I'm
Rick
just saying,
Berman.
some more shit. Yeah.
Emotionally, that's how I feel about the character.
I'm pretty
Yeah,
happy
no.
with Ezri, though. Ezri's pretty good.
Yeah, she was a nice touch, actually.
I feel like Ezri was probably more in touch with like her original character sort of thing, whereas Jadzia felt more like a smash up of like Curzon.
Hang on. Everybody
All
press
the-
play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Play. Continue.
Yeah, sorry. Felt
I-
she was like
I love the episode where Ezri hunts down the shooter. I love her psychologist role. Like, that was really interesting because like we didn't have since Troy, we didn't have a psychologist on board. And Troy was more of a counselor. She wasn't even a psychologist.
Ezri is the crime solver, essentially. She solves that crime. She solves the crime on her mother's home planet, or not home planet, but like on when she goes to her
Yeah.
mother's house. She figures out who murders someone there. It's a
Marika
little
Bilby.
bit. Yeah, I didn't want to spoil too much, but yes.
I'm happy to spoil it. It's Marika Bilby. She dies.
Yeah,
Gets thrown in a river.
And there's a Vulcan sociopath on the ship, on the station.
and apparently the river is so polluted with organic solvents that it just partially dissolves her as well, which
Yep.
is
I mean, it
Yeah.
is at a mining facility.
yeah.
A wormhole is gone. Okay, so the only reason that scene existed was so we could have this recap. Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We get to see Wayun's big blue eyes get mad.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Whenever Wayun is on screen, it's important to always watch his eyes because sometimes his blue contact slips and he just goes cross-eyed or
Oh
wall-eyed.
yeah, his contacts are off quite a bit, and that happens to Neelix too in Voyager. So keep an
But
eye out.
he makes it work though.
makes him look unnatural.
Yeah,
He
no,
is
I
unnatural.
mean,
He's a clone.
Yeah.
I mean, that the cross-eyed look when you're like so in a cult.
No, what?
I'm just saying,
Is,
like,
is this a look you're very familiar with? Like,
well, I mean, in general, they say people in cults have like 1,000-yard stare, so I can just see like that 1,000-yard stare with
Oh,
the
this
eye.
is-
Go ahead.
This is not just like 1,000-yard stare. This is like one eye is looking up and the other eye is looking to the extreme left and way out of frame. It's not like
Yeah, so-
cross-eyed. It's the opposite of cross-eyed. It's
Like a roving eye.
yeah. It's just the contact is all over the place. And the funny thing is, because those contacts are
Colored.
it's not a solid coloring job. They are actually like a grid, so that they can be anywhere on your eye and you can see through them because they're so close to the focal lens that it doesn't interfere with your vision.
How
So
long
like the contact can be way off center and he just would have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
All this chanting just reminds me of the phrase bonum commune communitatis. Bonum commune communitatis. It's just chanting. It's all about the chants.
What's that from?
Hot Fuzz.
What's that?
You don't know Hot Fuzz?
That was a good movie. That's such a good movie. I'd forgotten what the chant was.
Bonum communitas. I just looked it up. I remember the communitatis part.
Is that like a
They're
post?
great.
Do you think of the of I think
Hot
it's
Fuzz
Grail,
is a
where
police
they have
comedy
the-
movie, and I highly recommend
Oh,
it.
so
Thank you.
good.
Great,
So
good.
fucking good.
And
You have a voice modulator on, or are you really just that deep radio voice all the time?
This is actually my voice.
I am
on
jealous. This is an amazing
93.7
voice.
FM.
93.7 FM, smooth jazz from morning to night.
Tired.
What's with Kira's hair? Did it change at some point?
It changed. Yeah, this is new. And I don't like it.
Kira's hair is new too.
That's what we just said.
Oh, I'm sorry. I heard Odo because Windex.
No,
is
Odo's
so
hair is
low.
the same.
Oh, sorry.
Windex is so low that like, it's all right.
Wait, what do you...
Not a big.
Elizabeth
turn
says her,
Windex up
her
on your end.
village that she lives in is realistic to the one in Hot Fuzz. What are people killing each other in your village?
For the
Yeah.
greater good.
The greater good. Yeah, if you haven't seen
greater
Hot
good.
Fuzz,
Good.
that video about the greater good was probably somewhat confusing what I was on about.
By the way, convoy duty is not safer than the front. Like convoys get ambushed. It's very
Yeah, I mean,
dangerous.
attacking supply lines is one of the key
Yeah.
strategies in military.
Yeah. More important than winning battles is attacking supply lines. Actually.
They are only transporting self-sealing stem bolts, though.
Okay.
What was dog?
Yep, they all have guns, but I get that. I get them having a gun here.
Yeah.
The Defiant has
But
been
I don't-
boarded by the Jem'Hadar, I think, twice so far. Maybe three
The
times.
Defiant is a warship, so it's but you know the station is a joint administration Federation Bajoran station.
Yeah, it's also wartime though. Like, because if you remember, in yesterday's Enterprise, everybody had like fancy Starfleet insignia belts
Yeah.
and phasers and all.
Even the
that.
bridge looked like a battle bridge.
Yeah,
Cisco's
it was-
Creole Kitchen. Now, you, Mystery Review, previously said that he was going to go back for Cajun food. This is a Creole restaurant. And I specifically
snap.
remember a line from Mr. Joseph Cisco calling out, "The man's an idiot. He can't even tell the difference between Creole food and Cajun food."
Okay, server mute here.
Cisco's Creole restaurant.
I don't think I could tell you the difference.
I don't know the difference either, but
The man's an idiot. No, one is
I've
French-
never had
they're
either
both
Creole
French
or
descended.
Cajun.
They're both French descended, but
Yeah,
I'm an
I
idiot.
need to go. We need to
I
go
don't
to New
have
Orleans
a
at some
Creole or
point this
Cajun
year.
restaurant anywhere nearby me. I'd have to go to a big city somewhere. I'd have to drive to LA, maybe San Francisco.
I really do want to go to New Orleans at some
Orleans
point.
got a couple of good
Looks amazing.
places.
Oh, Discord and piano playing.
Demon baseball.
Creole specifically is a
Yeah.
language group, and Creole just means we don't use this word anymore, pidgin. But pidgin is you have a hodgepodge of 3 or 4 different languages.
Is that
But,
a real shovel? I thought I saw the bottom of it just like bend away and break, and then they cut to a different angle.
Thank you for reminding me though that Grandpa Cisco considers you an idiot if you can't tell the difference between Cajun and Creole. It's a note for me to learn that. Because Gambit
Oh,
from X-Men is Cajun.
Spooky.
They call him the Raging Cajun. Yeah, I wouldn't be into Revelations if my dead wife kept showing up like that.
Well, that's not his dead wife.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's his dead
But
mom.
like, oh, okay, okay, thanks.
She's not dead either, technically.
No, she is. She died in like a water ski accident or something a year ago.
The
He is
human
with
woman
the
is dead,
prophets.
Yeah.
but the
Okay,
prophet
yes.
woman,
Yes.
she is not.
But I'm saying the image to you is of a dead person if you have that vision.
Well, he just said he's never seen her before. He has no idea who she is.
Mhm,
He finds out who she is in this episode.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah, you
'Cause
know,
his
I was
mom-
always
his mom
worried
is
about that
in
too. About him hitting her in the face with that shovel. Like he was digging pretty hard. It's probably like thwonk.
It all worked out. It's fine.
She didn't mind.
Okay, so the only Creole or Cajun food I could find is one Creole sandwich or something from a cafe. And it's not a Cajun restaurant. They just have a thing. That's the closest I got.
Legit. It doesn't sound legit.
It's not.
Probably has a couple of spices that are
Gumbo
characteristic of the region, and that's about
is
it.
that Creole food or Cajun? I don't know. But like gumbo's part of that. And you could also make alligator gumbo. That's what they do in Louisiana.
Maybe I can find gumbo specifically.
The bayou is like the swamp area, and so they have a culture of their own.
Okay, there's an oyster bar, which sounds disgusting. It sounds like it smells real bad there. Maybe.
No, seafood is part of New Orleans culture. So if you're not into oyster bars, and
Yeah.
Control F gumbo.
No
No results.
the Gulf has amazing selection of seafood.
There's no gumbo. There's probably no jambalaya either in your area.
Yeah,
that is too bad. Jambalaya is delicious.
Yeah, and I saw like a 10-gallon like jambalaya pot that I was gonna buy because I needed the lid. But yeah.
Okay, I see one place that if I Google jambalaya, it says menu highlight jambalaya, but they don't have a website, so I can't look at their menu.
Oh, interesting.
Call and ask them if they have alligator in the jambalaya.
Apparently they're on DoorDash though, but everything's super expensive.
Yeah.
I ain't paying them $9 for a basic salad.
Whoa.
How do they make that pad? Is that just like printed?
Yes.
Sure, I think so.
Typically, yeah.
Yeah, that's not a real screen.
Yeah. Okay.
That's why they have to have so many different pads, because they're not real computers.
Right.
I look forward to the day where we have like an e-ink pad like that, though, where it just looks like paper.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Cool.
I like the Kindle that I have. It looks pretty good, but it's black and white and it has a slow loading time, and it's not.
Yeah, there are color e-ink screens, but they're expensive.
Right, and there's only
none of them
eight colors right now. So
it's not a full color experience, and it's also not that great of an experience. I've seen.
Right, it's extremely slow.
Well, it's not the speed. It's that they don't look good.
Yeah.
They aren't great.
And when you read, you don't need that much color. Like Kindles are for books anyway. So
yeah, no, you don't really need color at all for a book. But there are plenty of like an e-ink comic reader would be amazing.
Right. Or actually, textbooks, medical textbooks, science textbooks, like you need, like they're thick and expensive. So if you could successfully show color diagrams for students, that'd be a killer.
Also, just a note, we do now have Colonel Kira instead of Major Kira.
Oh, very nice. And there's 2 Federation starships on that desk before the thing went away.
Colonel, actually.
I think this episode or the last one, Naren Shankar did the teleplay for it, and teleplay is basically the script. But again, he went on to run The Expanse. So I just think it's amazing how, Star Trek has trained people to write good television in the decades to come.
Yeah, there are a lot of television writers who started their careers on Star Trek. And Ron Moore is one of the most successful ones, but
yeah.
David, at some point, it's just not practical to have a paper book, because I've got a bunch of books, and do you know how hard it is to move those books if I ever need to?
Mm-hmm.
It's like having a tree in your living room, just a whole tree that you have to move a bit at a time. And an e-ink book doesn't use power passively. It uses power just to change the page, just a little bit to change the page. Once it's set, it's there. Regular books are they're really nice, but they're just so big.
Yeah, I got rid of a ton of my paperbacks and other books a while ago when I had to move, and I'm like, okay, do I want to pack all these books up or just get digital copies?
Give them to a library.
That sign is so gaudy.
A bunch of them I didn't even get new copies of because it's like, okay, I read this paperback like 10 years ago. It was fine, but it's not something I'm ever going to read again, so I don't need to keep it or get another one.
This is a weird program.
Today on Design-A-Mom.
It's more like a police forensic thing. Like
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's like a sketchbook, but not like
even today they'll do this because back in the day they used to get a sketch artist.
yeah.
But this is way better because there's a lot of back
Cisco
and forth
just
when-
kissed his son on the cheek. Fatherly affection? Impossible.
What's that? What's that?
In my Star Trek, where
In
everybody
my
has
Star
daddy
Trek?
issues.
That's the only father-son kiss we get, right? On the whole show.
No, he's kissed Jake before.
No, I'm saying in all of Star Trek, I don't think you really
Between
get
the captains,
any other
the different
dad.
captains.
I don't think you ever get
Oh,
another
yeah.
dad kissing his son, really.
I
on the
mean,
cheek.
we see a couple people hug their sons, or who they think are their sons, but then are revealed to be a devilish plot.
Mm-hmm. No.
I was thinking of one episode, but I just realized that actually happens repeatedly.
I'm sure Dr. Crusher hugs Wesley a fair amount.
But she's not a captain. Well, she's a captain in one episode.
Okay, fair enough.
I love this actor. His eyes get so big.
Brock Peters. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he's amazing. He's a legend.
He even tried to assassinate the Klingon Chancellor.
Even when they went back to the Bell riots and he was that preacher, like you believed it. Like talk about
No, you're getting two streams confused there. Bell Riots was time travel. The preacher was in the Benny brother.
Right to
Benny
the
episode.
woods, brother Benny. That was him.
sorry. That was the black sci-fi writer who can't get a story published episode. Sorry.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Brock Peters has a long history in Hollywood, though. He's not just the Star Trek actor. I
only
think
know
his
him from
first
Star
role
Trek.
was To Kill a Mockingbird, I think.
The
Oh, really?
black and white one?
Yeah.
Damn, what a
Wow.
spectacle.
He was the guilty guy?
Define guilty.
Well, sorry, not guilty guy. Excuse me. Let me. But they found him guilty. That's what I mean to say.
Yeah, convicted. Yeah.
Okay, I'm conflating too many terms.
Tom Robinson, yeah.
Apparently, he was Darth Vader's voice in Star Wars Return of the Jedi, the original radio drama.
God.
Wow, no wonder he's so familiar. Thank you, Mike. I had no idea. That's why, I'm so into Cisco's dad like that.
Star Trek should make radio dramas. They'd be good radio dramas.
You know,
I can see it.
I realize we haven't gotten to the episode yet, but I will never get over having a human Vic in the alternate universe.
That's the best
Yeah.
alternate. That's the best mirror universe, but
Wait.
Vic Fontaine mirror is the best mirror character ever.
It makes absolutely no sense.
No, and
Wait,
that's
wait,
why it's
wait.
amazing.
Wait, we have a human Vic in the alternate universe?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
the
He
mirror
just
universe
shows
is
up,
not
and then
holographic.
everyone's like, wait,
So
wait, you're not a
anyway,
hologram? Now, if you want to make an explanation for it, you can just say that, like, Felix modeled Vic Fontaine after himself, and that's just Felix.
I wonder if we have a real Robert Picardo, too.
Don't they call him Vic?
They do, but maybe it's a nickname. You don't know.
Morari has taken over the Mintakans in the alternate universe.
I mean, of all the things that the mirror universe does, that human Vic Fontaine is probably the thing that makes the most sense, because it's like, oh yeah, this alternate reality is actually different in a significant way, finally.
I mean, it's pretty different in
More
other
than just,
significant
like,
ways,
a
I
goatee or
think.
two.
Especially with the whole fascist regime humans thing. That's pretty significant.
I mean, yes,
I
but
know what
also
you mean. I got it.
it's so close to our actual, like, well, not our actual, but like the
Well, maybe
actual
our actual.
main
Let's wait and see
prime
in 40
universe.
years.
and it remains so close despite different people dying and whatnot.
Yeah, it's too close.
Terra
It should
Firma.
not be possible that people are Kira is born, and and any of those
Terra
people are
Firma.
born.
Okay, remember Senator Kretak here, because she's going to be in a later episode, and they changed the actress.
Yeah, I
They
think I read
recast
that
her.
this actress was just not available when they needed to film, so they recast her.
Okay.
I don't think we really tell Romulan senators apart or captains apart that well.
You can tell them apart.
In
Do all
alternate
Romulans
universe,
look the same to you?
in alternate universe, Ryan bans like everyone for the slightest infraction from the Discord server and YouTube chat. Like any criticism of Discovery, server ban.
Senator
Nah.
Kretak knows what's up. She's pretty cool.
I would have been banned like 3 seasons ago.
Something fascinating about the whole Romulan Vulcan dichotomy is that the Vulcans often cite coming to logic and that philosophy as being vital for their culture to survive and for their people to survive. Like
True.
not just hey, this is a good thing that we should probably do. It's like, oh no,
Yeah.
we would have destroyed ourselves if we hadn't
Right.
gone this way.
Right.
Whereas the Romulans obviously don't embrace that philosophy, and they're not just fine, they are more successful than the Vulcans have ever been. They have their own empire.
Right.
Also, yes,
So-
that actress is the same one from The Outcast. Not the one that Riker dates, but she's the judge lady. Or
Yeah,
not
she's
lady. The judge,
lead.
not unspecified androgynous culture person.
Yeah, what's her name?
Nor, says Memory Alpha.
I meant the actress, but yes.
Oh,
Or.
Megan Cole.
I think or was her name, right? Not Noor.
It's Noor.
Okay, thanks.
Also, why did they have to clean this up? This is a hologram. You can just reset it. But
she's
then
only
Vic
played
doesn't
two
like to
roles
do
in
that.
Star Trek. I'm surprised she's only been 2 roles in Star Trek. I thought Megan Cole had been in a few more episodes, but she's also a pretty big character actor. I think I've seen her in other things. Yeah, I've seen her in Seinfeld. That's where I've seen her before.
Okay. Leave it be, Ben.
I don't know how it's so amazing, these two, because like you totally see this man as Cisco's father, because like you resemble your father in some ways, and like they're both so stubborn, and like he's out stubborning Cisco, and we know how stubborn Cisco can be.
We're talking about resemblance between actors. Jake Sisko, whose name I definitely know is the actor,
Sirach
grew up to
Lofton.
look. Yeah, Sirach Lofton grew up to look a lot like Avery.
funny.
So those
Though,
sirens were in the
No.
show.
Well, he did just commit assault and battery. There's a domestic dispute going on here.
Well, I mean, the first time we see this restaurant, 2 Starfleet officers show up to take a blood sample right at that table from Grandpa Cisco, and he's like, "You're not taking my blood. I haven't done anything."
His mother is Sarah. Whenever I need a name for something, for like if I'm playing a game and I have a female character I need a name, I'll always just use Sarah as a default, because somehow, even though I'm pretty sure it's one of the most common names in the US, I don't know a single person named Sarah.
Wow.
So I just
I
default
knew
to
so
it.
many in college.
Cool.
Lucky.
But no, apparently I know of one Sarah. Sarah
So,
Cisco.
On your whole Facebook list, there's not a single Sarah of like whatever. I'm
Facebook? What
assuming
am
you're
I, a
Facebook.
boomer?
Yeah, I know. Okay, never mind. Like, in your whole cell phone contact list, there's no Sarah or
There's no
email.
No, I don't know any Sarahs.
Mm.
Let me look this up. US most popular names.
She left you.
According
wonder
to this,
why.
to the Social Security Administration, Sarah is the 9th most popular name for female births through 2020.
Wow. So, out of
Oh,
half the
yeah.
population, you should have met 1 in 20. No, never mind.
A non-trivial number.
Yeah. Thanks. Thank you. A non-zero number.
Mary, let's see, I know a Mary. I don't know a Patricia. Apparently that's number 2. I know a Jennifer. I don't know a Linda. I know... Oh, here's Elizabeth at number 5. We have an Elizabeth here.
In the chat. She's one of our biggest viewers. Funny, too. So...
Are you sorry, or
Why-
are you just sorry you got caught?
Yeah. So lie to your children about who their mother is. Okay. Got you.
I mean, strictly speaking, he wasn't adopted. So...
Yeah, but his mother is not who he thought he was.
I'm surprised he didn't know that already with how...
Yeah.
How...
Genetics.
Yeah, genetic testing and genetic scans and brain scans that they do constantly when you're on a starship.
Yeah. You should have just said, like, this is not news, Dad.
Oh no. More familial strife. Unrelated to the familial strife, I don't like the color of those cups. I don't think that mustard yellow works.
It's Cajun.
Cajun or not, it's ugly.
I
It's
like
an ugly cup.
It's a cute little restaurant.
His pots and pans are dangerously close to his head as well. You smoke yourself on that someday.
How much taller is Avery than Brock? Because maybe it works really well for Brock's height.
Oh, shit.
Why would you take your gumbo recipe to the grave, Brock?
It's very selfish.
That's so selfish. Who's gonna run the restaurant?
The guy who can't even tell the difference between Creole food and Cajun food?
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, now it's a thing, and now I won't be able to unsee it, that Kira has the Karen haircut.
Oh god, she does.
No.
It's a
She's got
thing now.
braid,
Gosh
though.
dang it. Kira, no.
That wasn't a thing back in 1999, okay?
It's a thing now.
Yeah.
So do most Romulan women, though.
The Karen haircut. Do you not know the Karen haircut? It's the haircut that
yeah.
you get when you want to speak to the manager, Mr. Signal. But then, I guess Kira doesn't need to because she is the manager.
Or a Romulan. God, Kira's so racist.
She's one of the good ones. She's different.
Yeah, all the other Bajorans are lazy peasants.
Well, they're getting along.
Bajor has a lot of moons, huh? Like Jupiter?
Why does... Oh, I know why he has alcohol in his hand.
Good observation, Ryan.
He needs to go get Worf drunk. 2301? I don't know. I feel like there's a finer vintage than 2301.
What year is it now? Stardate.
I don't bloody know. Mid 2300s?
2360 something?
So that's 60-year-old wine? I can't afford that. He got a really good thing.
So wouldn't blood wine like completely
That'd be like
over intoxicate a human? Didn't
I
they
would
go,
assume blood wine would congeal after 60 years.
But
it's
did
funny.
but did they establish that like blood wine is so like alcoholic
Yeah.
humans have to take like a.
Yeah, anti intoxicant.
Mhm.
Well, they did that specifically because they went to a party
Yeah,
that was going to last all night and then into
Yeah.
the next morning.
and they were
And if
drinking
they-
blood wine by the barrel.
yeah, and they had to fit in, so they had to drink.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Okay, so it is
But-
currently late 2374.
What? So 74-year-old. So right now that would be like a 1955 Cabernet Sauvignon Blanc for me.
Also, I'm deeply disappointed that when I asked if there was a finer vintage, nobody said 2309. There is no
Oh,
finer
I-
vintage.
Sorry.
I was going to, but I got interrupted. Well, not interrupted,
Okay.
but like somebody
Why
said.
is that the Chateau Picard one?
No,
No,
2309 is
2309 is-
Martok's favorite.
Yeah,
Okay.
that will get specifically spoken of later, I think.
Repeatedly.
Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know any of this.
God, you don't know your blood wine vintages?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I got kids used to make fun of me in 5th grade for being a Star Trek fan, but I'm like out of my league over here.
The man is an idiot.
I'll take that from you.
Doesn't even know the difference between 2301 and 2309.
I do
I-
remember that Picard was drinking wine from 2346 in Family.
Okay.
I mean, O'Brien dug deep to get that 75-year-old wine.
And he thought it was the 47?
No, I think I got it backwards. It was the 47, and he thought it was the 46.
You guys, please do not talk about vintages of blood wine.
No, this isn't blood wine. This is Chateau Picard.
Oh, okay, thank you.
How can he ensure that Jadzia gets into Stovokor? Does Jadzia want to go to Stovokor? There's going to be a bunch of Klingons there.
Yeah.
Is there a Trill Heaven?
Jadzia was very proud of being as Klingon as Worf was, culturally.
Is this a discussion that they that you're supposed to have in life where you spend like every other week at Klingon Heaven, then you switch to Trill Heaven and you go back and forth? And every other
Yeah.
weekend you go to visit your parents?
But she became Worf, so technically all rituals have to be Klingon. It's like you can't have both like a Catholic funeral and something else. You can
Sure
only
you
have one
can.
funeral, one wedding. How many times are they going to bury you? Clams?
You can dig them up again.
Yeah. Clams?
They are now, yeah.
I can't see very well.
I can't tell either. This is still SD, you know? Those are potatoes.
Someone smeared Vaseline all over the lens.
Those are clams.
Okay. In his hand. Okay, those are clams.
I can see that one he was just holding did have a bit of a sharp edge, unlike a potato.
Okay.
The only reason I know that is my fiance is a French chef, and she's had to do that, and she's like, "Yep, clams."
Clams. That's a lot of clams.
I've been watching Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares, so I've just been having Gordon Ramsay's voice in my head. First, he take down that
Exactly.
sign, the gaudy sign that says Cisco's. Like, you don't need a neon sign in the front of your restaurant.
Does this count as
Um,
enslaving animals for food purposes?
Mushrooms.
Yeah.
Those are fresh, by the way. It's not like they're replicated.
And yeah, the
But-
potatoes do not clack together. That's true, but they could have ADR'd some clack in sounds. It doesn't have to be in camera. I said ADR. I don't even know what ADR means. Well, the acronym. I know what it means. What's ADR? After day recording.
Yeah, it's a cool job when you realize that, like, you know, when pitter patter you can make just by clapping your nails on something, and like even that smack on the table that Cisco did was probably added in later.
Oh, above the emissary.
What's the name of that position? Gaffer? Is that?
Yeah, audio gaffer.
Foley artist.
Right.
Kaffir's Church of Equipment, I
This
think.
Grandpa's the Prophet's Grandpa's necklace. That's crazy.
Why did Jake Sisko's audio sound way worse? He sounded like he was recording from home there, and he spoke over himself.
I would imagine it's because the boom mic and
Yeah.
that little
It's too far
barrier
away.
up there, it's right between it.
Yeah. And like, there's a wall between Jake, and the other two in the front.
Plenty of space to hide his own mic back there. Derna, of course, is a moon of Bajor, which they mentioned earlier, but we probably talked over it.
No, we were talking about it. I was talking about how many moons does Bajor have?
A lot. Enough that one was M-class somehow.
But also enough that the Romulans wind up using one for like nefarious purposes.
Mr. Nagus, Faint Signal would like to know if you have a podcast.
I do not, unfortunately.
Oh. Oh, there's the fish skeleton in the background. Haven't seen that in a while.
Dun dun dun.
They won't treat Vulcans at their medical facility. What sensor reading? We can't see the pad, Odo. Plasma torpedoes.
Trilithium? Wasn't that what Soren was doing in Generations?
Yep.
Yeah.
Think.
Oh, that
Trilithium.
that was a nice
cobalt
fuzzy
was the,
border around Martok. When it had to fade out
Trilithium
the green screen.
Cobalt was the full chemical.
Trilithium is also the element that they were, or element, whatever it is. I don't even know. But it's also what they were transporting in Star Trek Die Hard.
Yes. Trilithium resin. Well, Martok's being nice. Wait, did you just backhand Martok? Isn't that a challenge to the duel to the death?
Yep.
No, they established a few episodes before in D69 that it's under a highly structured environment where only the immediate junior can challenge the superior.
He is the immediate junior. He's the first officer, and Martok's the captain.
He said that before he knocked him down, and he said, "I'll be your first officer." Have you ever peeled potatoes, Ryan?
You do not take clams with you on a road trip.
See, he says clam.
Yeah.
Well, we know they're supposed to be clams. The question was about the prop.
No, the question was about the first time we see him washing it at the beginning of the episode. Was that potatoes? Because we don't hear any clinking, and this is creepy. This is why it's not good to be famous.
Fanboys.
Well, fanboys who stalk you. Like, you have to like maximum security your house just because.
The emissary is wise.
Why
are you so creepy, man? If you're gonna stab a man, just stab him. Don't make it all weird.
Yeah, don't like show up in a religious robe and be all like holy.
Wonder if Ensign Rowe knows this guy.
Probably. The cult isn't that big right now.
What was the thing you said, Michael? I
said I wonder if Ensign Rowe knows this guy.
Oh, okay.
They're both Power Wraith cultists.
Ensign Rowe's a Power Wraith cultist?
Yeah.
What?
The main distinguishing... What, you didn't watch all of my videos? Jeez. The
I'm
main
sorry.
distinguishing feature of a Power Wraith Cultist is they wear their earring on the opposite side, which Ensign Row does.
Okay. You know, you remind me of. I know this like bat crazy channel for evangelical Christianity. If you just make the rock star sign, like they call it the devil horns, they assume that you're a Satanist, and it's like a lot of people just make the sign of with their
I mean,
hand. It
Satan's
doesn't
pretty
mean.
cool. He gave people free will and knowledge and stuff.
Uh-huh. But yeah, just because you wear that earring on the wrong shoulder doesn't make you a Satanist.
Pretty sure it does. She's also rude, like a cultist.
Norns are
She never
very
mentions the prophets.
faithful people.
You're right. She's a godless demon worshiper.
I don't know if he can handle them. He just got stabbed by one of them.
It's clearly obvious he cannot handle one of them at all.
Man, you're supposed to fight Jem'Hadar. You can't even take out one teenager with a knife. Granted, it was a surprise attack.
He was being weird for at least 20 seconds before that.
He was.
Red flag, Cisco.
Yeah.
Ear looks really.
Well, there's your
flat.
answer. The shipyards
element
are on
of
Monac
surprise.
4, which means that they're not in orbit of the star.
Yeah,
you know, it's
unless there's 4 stars in the Monac system. What if it's a quaternary system?
I know I do a lot of tangents, so please forgive me for this one. But last month when I gave my weed dealer, I gave him a rosary. I asked him if he prayed, and I put the rosary in his hand. But like, it kind of freaked him out because if you ask someone, "Do you pray?" you wonder if they're gonna empty out on you with a gun the next second. So it's kind of crazy that I approached like the stalker that Cisco saw.
Yeah, don't give your drug dealers anything but money, really.
Yeah, that's the idea.
That should be a quote from Ryan officially.
I'm fine with that. I think
Let me
that's good
mute myself,
advice.
'cause
I mean, I've
I've
never
said-
actually bought any drugs, even a soft drug. Well, I mean, I've bought aspirin, I guess, if that counts. Though I don't know if I would call the cashier at CVS a dealer.
What I want to know is what O'Brien and Julian are drinking. Because that
Yeah.
beer looks really flat.
Yeah, it looks really
bad.
weak too. The color and everything.
Yeah,
It's like expired Budweiser.
they found a case of Bud Light.
Yeah.
And they think it's a vintage. And they're like, ooh, look at this.
Coors Light.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw a whole bunch of ships, including what I think were some Bajoran ships in the foreground. But none of them were triangles, I don't think. This whole season is deeply disappointing.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, how does Kira interrupt Admiral Ross? But Kira
Very well.
is equal to Admiral Ross right now. Yeah. And Kira's not asking here. Like Admiral Ross is just a sideline.
And Admiral Ross knows when to pick his fights. It's not worth it to try and get Kira out right now.
I mean, even when the Klingons and the Romulans were fighting, Admiral Ross was sitting and Cisco was talking. So Admiral Ross, you just sit in your chair and look pretty. Cisco's running this show. I do like Bill Ross though. He's a
Bajor
good
will
actor.
guarantee its safety. Come on, Kira. You know that doesn't mean anything. You don't even have
Bajoran
ships. You have a few
Bajoran
freighters
trait.
that don't even go FTL.
It's like the Naboo fighter Princess Amidala flies in. That's all they have.
A Naboo fighter is actually pretty good. That thing's just trash.
True. But like, I think they only have one, right? They don't have a fleet of Naboo fighters.
Are we talking about Naboo's fleet or are we talking about Bajor's fleet?
I was saying, even Naboo. Yes, the Naboo fighter is a great ship. I was wrong about that. But as far as I know, they only have one, the Naboo fleet. So the Naboo fleet would be on par with the Bajoran fleet.
So predictably treacherous. And it's not wrong.
Yeah.
This restaurant is hideous.
Wow. Harsh.
I'm sorry, I'm doing my Gordon Ramsay cap.
I mean,
feel like
the
I'm
wall
eating the
decor,
80s.
the wallpaper's pretty ugly. They could get rid of that.
I think they did that on purpose though. Like
It also has
I,
it also has fake candles along the walls
Yeah.
for lighting. It looks old.
yeah.
all right, I'm headed out. I gotta go help a friend move in. I'll
Nice meeting you.
Okay.
yeah,
Thanks for
talk to you
stopping
guys.
by.
See you next week.
Nice to meet you, friend.
See ya.
Bye.
Who's here to see Ben? But he's gonna miss Esri. We're at the end of the episode. We only have 1 minute left.
This
And most of that
actress
is credits.
grew into her role really fast. Like she did a great job of taking on the role. Also considering she was like an emergency hire, basically.
You know, that's a good point. How does the Dominion know about the weapon emplacements on Derna? They don't have cloaks as far as I'm aware. So they have to have a spy. Who's spying for the Dominion? Who is it?
Wait, what is
A
Derna?
changeling.
Derna is the moon that the Romulans have weapons on.
Right.
And the
so how do we know
Dominions-
the Dominions know?
Yeah, how did they know that?
No, but when did we find out the Dominion knows that?
With the Romulans, they're so predictably treacherous.
Yeah, Wei Yun literally walked in the room and said the Romulans have taken over Bajoran Moon and heavily.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting. Man, they have good intelligence.
Once again, Netflix skips the recap. Don't do that.
If you're on Netflix, click play and let it automatically skip for you, then just roll back to the beginning.
Basically, all of season 7 is one episode.
Okay, 1 minute to Shadows and Symbols, which I like. It's a good episode. It's a little weird. It has Dr. Wyckoff, though, and Dr. Wyckoff is pretty good.
I mean, that was a joke, but I do think like all of season 7 is basically one arc for D69. Like we get a lot more closure. Like they knew it was coming to an end, unlike TNG. So
Heavily serialized storytelling.
There are a
Weren't they
couple
playing into
arcs.
season 8 though?
I'm
What's that?
sorry.
Again?
Did make it. Season 7 is an arc, but weren't they also expecting a season 8?
No.
And
Oh, they
then
weren't? Okay.
Michael also
Someone
there
said
were multiple
TNG was
arcs.
expecting a season 8.
Yeah, yesterday I think Robo said it.
Yeah, no,
Anyway,
let's just call it end to DS9.
10 seconds to start. Everyone be queued up and get ready to press play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play.
The assault on the Chintaka system was the highlight of my 7th grade. You know, it must have been that exciting when the U.S. was winning the Pacific War.
So yeah, what do we get in this episode? We get Dr. Wyckoff. We get a script written on a wall. We get Esri. And what else happens?
House
Oh
has
yeah,
still got his
the
group
Dominion
back.
shipyard. Now, these recaps are pretty unnecessary,
Yeah.
but here's one
But-
criticism I have for Discovery. Every single episode starts and ends with a CBS ad.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to like make a backup copy for yourself, you either have to put up with it or edit the video file yourself to get rid of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, at least the prophets are talking to him again. That's kind of good.
Just the one prophet, actually.
True.
That's another reference to Hot Fuzz.
It's a nice piano. Do you have a piano? Like, did you grow up with a piano, Ryan, in your
No.
house?
I have a little electronic
Keyboard.
cheap keyboard over there, which I can play the Luigi's Mansion theme on. Kind of. It's been a while. It might take me a bit to remember how, but I could do it. Oh, also blur the screen. That's important. There we go.
Like, she's so cute and likable here. Like, you know, it would be really easy to like do this wrong. Like, she's stepping into someone else's shoes, and
Did she include the murderer in that list? I missed it.
she said Emily, right?
Emily wasn't the murderer.
Yeah,
The gymnast. Okay, sorry.
Someone else completely.
I think it was. I think it was complete, right?
Tobias.
There were 6 or 7 people in that.
I don't
list.
think it was Tobias. I don't think Tobias
I thought
is
it
the
was
murderer.
Joran.
Joran.
Joran. Okay,
Joran.
yeah.
That's it. No, I don't think she mentioned
Oh.
Joran. You're shorter, Esri. No, she's not short. It's just that Sirach Lofton is really tall. I do like that everyone
Still,
immediately accepts her. It's like, yep, no, you're Dax. This is fine. Let's go. Very accepting.
I mean, he's been here before, so.
He has. Yeah, that's a bit of an issue. They really had to skip a lot of stuff to get Dax on the show again. So this is kind of the only way they could have gone if they wanted that. Someone who was just completely unprepared, and they had to just rush it.
Well, no, they could have had someone who had prepared before. Did they have? Did you say they had to train for the one particular symbiont?
I don't know. And then we kind of get an Esri too in Discovery Season 3. Someone who took a symbiont and wasn't prepared for it.
Oh yeah.
A human.
Wasn't even
A
Trill.
human.
So,
Gross humans.
I rewinded just because I want to help.
Ugly bags of mostly water.
She said Jadzia,
Yeah.
Leela, Tobin, Emily, Audred, Joran, Curzon.
Okay. So she included the murderer. And the murderer is going to be the most helpful of all her previous lives. Unironically, he actually is.
Yes. She's gonna solve a psycho killer on the loose.
Alright, don't skip the intro, even though it's really long for some reason.
Unpopular opinion, but I would have really liked it if Curzon had stayed in Odo's body.
That would be weird.
That would be
Like, I love
not-
Rene Aubergenois. He's a great actor, and this would have given him a chance to really explore something beyond Odo.
I was about to say, it's like, well, that we couldn't do that because Curzon's a terrible person, but no, so's Odo, actually.
Yeah, but Odo doesn't fart all over the place.
Yeah, I look at Curzon as more of like a chaotic, neutral, almost chaotic good kind of guy.
Sorry, Ryan, can I get a timestamp briefly?
We're at 5:18, 5:19,
Thank you.
5:20.
Gracias. Triangle ship.
It's not the same.
I know.
It doesn't count if it's in the intro. We need a real triangle.
I know, but we just gotta get the feeling though, at least, right? So.
Now, I do know in this episode, we're going to get that standoff between the Bajoran fleet in massive air quotes and a couple of Romulan ships. I expect we get a triangle there.
Wait, it's funny. I'm not suggesting you watch any other YouTube channel, but there used to be another YouTube channel, and it was called Dominion War Recut. And somebody took like all the Dominion War episodes of D69 and cut them into a completely different story, where like Earth gets attacked and all that. It was really well done. But anyway, that came down because of copyright.
Okay.
It was like 50 parts long.
Casey Biggs as Damar. That's good. So eventually they'll stop chanting in Klingon. We can get on with the story. Nope, he's got it. Oh, here we go. Son of Keldar. He's learned from experience on Kronos.
He's had a Klingon wife, and he was the head of a Klingon house. for a
Very
hot
briefly.
minute. For a hot minute. He's blowing up Julian's spot.
All right. Cut your hand. Or does Worf have to go first? That's stupid.
Renee Echevarria.
Oh, you're cutting him with the same side of the same knife. Do you know how many bloodborne diseases there are? You can seriously get him sick.
Yeah.
Do not do that. Ever.
True.
Blood is disgusting.
You didn't sanitize your knife.
You never mix blood with someone else.
Why don't you just share a needle while you're at it?
But you know, being blood brothers and blood sisters, they told us that about that in like 3rd grade. Like people used to prick their finger and like mix it with someone else, and don't do that because at that point it was 1993, and we know that you don't mix blood with other people.
Yeah, I got a pretty long spiel about not sharing needles and whatnot in middle school for the same reason.
Yeah. I think the mafia does that too. Their initiation ceremony is like you cut your hand and everyone puts their blood in the same cup. But I guess if it's in the same cup and you're not shaking someone else's bloody hand, you should be all right.
And then what? Someone has to drink it? Do they pour it down the sink? What happens?
I don't know. Then you become a member of the family.
Okay, but there are some logistics to work out here. How much do you have to cut yourself? Because, like, if you just break your finger, some people have a hard time bleeding enough to even get, like, a blood sample. Do you have to take a bigger cut?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What if you're hemophiliac?
Do they have bandages available?
Yeah.
Do they have, like, isopropyl alcohol they can sterilize? Do they have different knives for everyone?
It's just like the Klingon ceremony you saw.
I have logistical questions about the Klingon ceremony. True. They clearly did not have enough knives to go around. They had to share.
Are you Italian American?
No.
Okay, so you can't join an organized crime family that I'm talking about then.
I wasn't planning to join an organized crime family.
No, then I can't answer your question either, Ryan.
Did I miss part of a conversation?
I watched too much Sopranos.
Yeah, I'm not convinced the story's actually true, but if it is, I have significant questions about what the Mafia does with all that blood they collect. Because it seems like if you're going with the whole, we're blood brothers, what is blood brothers now thing, then it seems like it would be disrespectful to just pour it down the drain. So what do they do with it? Do they fertilize a tree with the blood? Does that work? What is it? Do they have an affirmation of life tree?
Yeah, you're right.
Or it goes where a fire would seem like pleasingly ritualistic. I don't know.
Like, it sounds all fancy and dramatic, just like, we spill blood together. But there are questions about what you do with the blood.
Right. And also, like,
you have to think about what comes after.
How much blood and like, how deep do you cut? Like, otherwise, you don't want to be the one be like, don't prick me. Because I'm like, when I got the COVID shot, I'm scared of like any kind of needle. So I don't, I can't do that.
Hopefully they sterilize the knife between uses. What? Oh yeah, the Federation's not going to help. I like the frankness from Admiral Ross here. It's like, no, you're right. You're expendable. The Romulans are not. We need them.
And the Federation has done that to Bajor the whole time. It's more like the Federation is a benevolent occupier of Bajor.
God, I really want an alternate ending for this episode where the Bajorans just die. They just all get blown up with one shot.
Did Admiral Ross just tell Kira that she's not going to win?
Yes.
I don't think anyone's ever told Kira that she's not going to win.
I think a lot of people have told her that.
I don't think it makes a difference if you tell that to Bajoran. They just got rid of their previous occupiers.
Right.
They are
Exactly.
strong.
Yep.
But the
Like,
Killing
Romulans
a
still need
Bajoran
things to make their torpedoes go.
she and her posse single-handedly overthrew the Cardassians. So, okay,
Dr.
you don't know who
Wyckoff.
you're talking to.
Dr. Wyckoff.
Isolation Ward 4. There is no parking in the red zone.
Dr. Wyckoff to OR2. Dr. Wyckoff.
Do we actually establish that Casey Bakes is Dr. Wyckoff, or is he just some other doctor?
Yes, I think he is Wyckoff.
Okay. This is very clearly the same shot, though. The same place. I remember that rock from the vision. He's standing on the orb right now. If the vision's accurate. It was right there. Joseph Sisko with his flannel shirt, his button up. Doesn't look right in that robe. Also, they're making out like this is some big, long, dramatic desert journey. They could just beam up to take a break whenever they want.
Yeah.
It's like, it's getting a little hot. Let's go back up to the air-conditioned room for like 30 minutes.
I like that CGI cloak. You don't want that.
Generally, it's a bad
So
idea
there's-
to get close to a star.
There's a Greek play about that.
Yeah, they're big and dangerous and hot.
I mean, there's a
You're
Greek
being-
there's a Greek story about it, but the Greek story is wrong because Icarus didn't get that close to the sun. He just went up in the atmosphere, and it gets colder as you go up. The wax would not have melted.
That's a good point.
Good point.
God, the Greeks don't know about higher levels of the atmosphere. Worthless.
They don't know about the vacuum of space.
They thought the sun was just hanging out there, like a mile
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
I wonder who did first realize that space is a vacuum.
It was fairly
probably the
recent
guy-
because, like, I don't remember the exact timeline, but in the fairly recent past,
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
like
I
100,
mean,
150 years ago, they thought there was an
19
ether.
Yeah, late 19th century.
Oh yeah, that's
But, like,
true. But it's not the same as breathable air though.
Right, so hot air balloons would have been necessary to figure that out because
I don't think those can
That's
go
how
into
you-
space.
no, right, but that's the thing that's where you figure out that it gets colder and you run out of air.
Well, people could also have just reasoned from the fact that air gets thinner the higher up you are.
True, from the
Like,
mountain.
Why wouldn't that
But-
trend continue?
But also weather balloons for hot air balloons. Like if you're not going to put a person there, you can at least put a thermometer on it.
Though the thinking of the ether was less about, like, thinking there has to be air everywhere. It was more about, they thought that light had to travel through a medium. And because
Yeah,
they could
right.
see light from other stuff, they figured, oh, there must be stuff between. The ether.
Right. And the ether was also like the fifth element because you had the
That
wind,
was
water.
that was the word as like ancients used it. I don't think. I mean, like serious scientific types, well
No, but-
aware of the other of the
but
real
the
elements,
ether-
also use the word ether.
Right, but the ether continued until the 19th century.
It wasn't the same thing. I mean,
Yeah, you're 100% right, but I'm just saying they were the
they
same
just
word.
coined it,
Yeah,
borrowed
they
the
were-
word. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
I definitely recognize this desert, though. We've used it before.
Yeah, when Kira and Ducat were running on the sand and like Ducat was melting, that's what that thing was. It's almost like Star Trek is filmed in Southern California.
In fact, specifically, most of it might have been filmed just north of Los Angeles. At least the outside bits. Why is Sienna in a military installation?
Because she likes that green drink.
Why is Damar showing a civilian a military map in a military installation with several other military bigwigs and guards around?
Yeah, you're right. You can't bring your girlfriend to the war room in the White House.
I mean, he is kind of the president.
I mean, you
So,
you
like-
can. It's just a really bad idea.
You'll just have to have her killed afterward.
No, that's true.
Him too.
What's her name? Omarosa. Before she quit the prior administration, she went into the situation room with her cell phone on, and she recorded General Kelly firing her. And the protocol is you have to leave your cell phone outside in a secure box because there's no reason for you to bring recording equipment into the situation room. So there is precedent for that Cardassian woman to be in there.
Oh, I'm glad that Wayun has such great faith in Damar. They love each other.
Yeah.
We see Damar's arc, right? Like he was Ducat's stooge, and now he's like in charge of
12 impulse ships. Really, Kira? That's what you can muster? One Romulan warrior. Thank you, Vodo.
See, they have a Naboo fighter.
They have 12 ships, and they're all worthless. It means you're going to die, Kira, if you follow through on this.
And she's flipping the bird at Admiral Ross by doing that.
Yeah, if the Romulans actually kill Odo here, they're probably going to really piss the Dominion off.
Yeah.
Why is Deep Space Nine filled with such morbid humor right now?
Dark themes in my Star Trek? I mean, I guess the Dominion can't really do much more to the Rums than they already are. I mean, you can't go to double war.
I like these robes. It feels like they keep you cool in the desert.
They remind me of the Star Trek movie with Cybok. They hung out in the desert there.
The Final Voyage. The Journey.
The Final Frontier. That's what it was called.
Yeah, filmed by William Shatner too, directed.
Sounds like 5, right?
Yes. Cybok, one of the earlier, but not the earliest instance of Spock having secret family members.
True. Half brother.
Cisco, if you're tired, just beam up to the runabout for 10 minutes. Get a glass of water. Why do you even have the supplies down there with you? Why don't you just beam them down as needed?
You know, it reminds me, there's a air bread and breakfast trend. It's called glamping. Instead of like camping in the great outdoors, you have like a fancy $10,000 tent with like a jumbo bed and a plasma TV and like everything inside the tent. Glamorous camping is where it comes from. So they're just glamping right now. All this like sweat and struggle, that's just for the camera.
But now you're making Esri carry your stuff for you.
Rations.
Thanks, Ben.
Come on, guys. You guys are eating steak and potatoes in the on the replicator.
He should probably carry some, just a little bit actually, just in case the transporter doesn't work. But then if it doesn't work, they're dead anyway, because there's no way they can leave. They're on an abandoned planet. Also, this is exactly where they started, by the way.
Yeah.
That rock on the right was the same rock from the start. They're just at a different camera angle now.
Cisco's just got them walking in circles.
Where are they right now? This doesn't look like outer LA.
Looks like the Mojave. Not that I know.
DS9 Shadows and Symbols. Filming location. Where are they?
I'm pretty sure they did a lot of filming in Red Rock Canyon as well.
This is really interesting.
The Palmdale Desert.
I know we just panned that they just put Vaseline and used the same actors as the same episode, but I love how DC9 shows Prophecy because it's like discontinuous shots It's really cool.
So Palmdale Desert is where they are, and it is a little bit north of LA. It's on the very outer edge of the Mojave.
Yeah, looks like it. Looks like basically
Triangle.
where the plants. Woo!
Wait, I can't increase the counter right now because I think there were multiple and I have to go back and count them. But there was at least one triangle. We'll go back and count later.
You predicted it too, right? You said the one where they fight, where the Bajorans fight the Romulans. We might see a triangle.
Yeah, they have a big blockade.
Yeah, this is this one, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not much of a fight though.
So Cuba is blockading the United States right now. Great.
"14 Romulan warbirds. So they have more warbirds than the entire Bajoran fleet there right now.
But a warbird can defeat a galaxy class. So
yes, the entire Bajoran fleet could not destroy one warbird, and now they have 14 to deal with.
Sorry. Lieutenant Admiral Ross.
Also, the Romulans could just, like, cloak. Have one ship cloak, go past the blockade, and just beam the supplies down from the other side of the moon.
Yeah,
they don't have to break through the blockade. They can be invisible.
Three-dimensional space does make blockading tricky.
Yep.
Yeah.
Somehow it worked really well in TNG with only like 30 ships.
Yep.
Barely an inconvenience.
We just threw a net, sensor net. Duh.
Doesn't make any sense. They would have needed thousands and thousands of ships to make that work.
Yeah.
Probably millions.
Yeah. But
yeah, she's a little stupid. She's dating a collaborator and a traitor.
We all grew up playing Battleship, so like 2D chess, that's what we'd be doing. That's what war is.
This is clearly the same rock where they started. It's even the same camera angle.
Yeah, it is.
What was the point? They have a whole desert here. Why could they only film in this one little 10 square meters of the desert?
They have
we have no information that Cisco didn't just walk around in a circle until Ezra got frustrated enough to throw the baseball.
He clearly did just walk around in a circle.
Which inspired the prophet, Benjamin Cisco, to think of the baseball that fell off the piano, and that's what made him realize that this is where we got to start digging.
How about instead of lounging with heat exhaustion in the shade of a rock, one of them beams up to the runabout, and maybe they still want to stay. So what they do is they replicate like a big sun umbrella and some patio chairs, folding patio chairs, and then they just beam down with those. Maybe replicate some lemonade.
Where's that dune buggy Picard had in Nemesis at the beginning?
Why don't they just have a portable force field generator that keeps cold air around them?
That's a great idea, actually.
There are so many ways they could improve their situation with their technology. Instead of wandering blindly in a circle around the desert.
And making your 90-year-old dad walk through the Mojave Desert. By the way, the first time we see Grandpa Cisco, he would have never left that restaurant, even if you gave him the entire planet of Bajor. And now we got him looking for his, son's mom. So he's really sweet, actually, now.
Though, speaking of trading things for the entire planet of Bajor, I was some people will say, like, oh, I wouldn't trade my time with you for the world. It's like, no, of course not. The world is such a hassle to manage. That's so much work. If you take the whole world, I have enough trouble dealing with one household. What am I going to do with like over 100 nations?
7 billion people. For sure.
I wouldn't trade my time with you for a state, because being a governor sounds like a lot more work than I want to deal with.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean nothing.
That's the same graphic from Star Trek, what, 1 or 2, the motion picture, when they get out of there. The auto destruct that's 2, or 3.
Three.
But
I don't know.
yeah, thank you.
Same
Yeah,
graphic
no,
for what?
like the
I don't know what you're looking
Klingon. Sorry, all the Klingon displays, they look like they're straight out of the original series movies.
So in Star Trek 3, the Klingon bridge was completely different from this.
I'm talking about the displays on the computer screen. Like
Yeah, the displays
flashing
were different as
triangles.
well. It was a completely different bridge, completely different displays.
Yeah, I'm talking about the icons. The red triangles standing for the ships.
The man's an idiot. Can't even tell the difference between movie displays and TV displays. No, you're good.
Yeah, we don't see that specific type of Klingon bridge until Star Trek 4. And I don't think so. All the Klingon graphics are Okudograms, which are Mike Okuda's designs for
And his
computer
wife Denise.
Yeah, and at that point, Star Trek 3, Mike Okuda was not working for Star Trek yet. So everything after that, he was working for. But
okay, good point. Good point.
Yeah, I'm not
Michael
totally clear why they couldn't use a tricorder to scan for the box, or the runabout to scan for the box, or
Yeah.
anything besides wandering blindly around the Mojave. Oh, yeah, right there. If you pause it and look, that is the script to Emissary, the pilot episode.
On the walls?
Yeah.
Oh,
They had the intern
nice.
write out the whole script.
That's brilliant.
Oh, that's cool.
That's brilliant.
You can make out just a little bit of it next to his hand where it says, like, oh, Cisco does whatever.
Now, that would be cool in an HD upsample.
Oh, that's Admiral Ross.
Nope. That's Damar.
Oh, I'm sorry. Silly me.
This made me a little bit sad because I didn't want there to be an explicit explanation for the other episode.
What other episode?
For Far Beyond the Stars?
Yeah.
This explains that? Okay.
Yeah, Far Beyond the Stars was a vision from the prophets, and this is a vision from the Pa Wraiths as an extension of that.
Right.
When we saw Riker's mental illness episode, like when he's on the alien prison and they keep telling him like the Enterprise is a hoax, you see like Riker at his finest in the sense that like, when he's yelling at the guy for being in the audience. So I mean, it's really cool that they got Cisco in a mental asylum scribbling on the walls. Like,
Actually, this might not be the script for Emissary. This is probably for the script for this episode, actually.
yeah, it makes sense because that would have been handy. But I mean, I don't think anyone would have fact checked you on that, right? So, but thank you.
Need to look that up on Memory Alpha. Let's see if they mention it. I don't remember where I read that. I might have just made that up in my head.
I'm sure you could confirm it. But what orb is this that we're getting now?
Orb of the Emissary.
Oh, thank you. Yo, those warbirds. Isn't there a war going on? They're over a medical facility with the moon? Come on.
Okay, the writing on the wall in Benny Russell's cell was actual genuine handwriting done by the entire art department, under the supervision of Michael Okuda. The writing was supposed to be the history of Deep Space Nine as told by Russell. All the stories as seen by viewers since the pilot episode Emissary. When describing what to actually write on the walls, Okuda used an early manuscript draft of the Star Trek Deep Space Nine companion, and he had his team copy out the episode summaries from every episode prior to Shadows and Symbols.
That's
nice.
amazing.
It's a summary of every single episode.
That's cool.
I saw like one person, they weren't even writing neatly. They just like curved and like left lots of space on the thing. It was pretty cool. If you're gonna be mad, be mad.
So we might get another wide shot of the blockading fleet here, but we're not going to count immediately. We're going to wait till the episode is done, then scroll back and pause and look.
First things first.
You're going to be dead very soon. There's a bunch of warbirds there.
Did they ever actually use the words the Daredex class on the shows? Because, well,
Yes.
It was in TNG.
I remember
Okay.
one time in TNG, in the episode The Defector, Picard's like, oh, he has given us information on the Daredex class warbird.
Okay.
That's the only time I remember. There might be more.
Yeah, usually you're right though. They usually just call it a warbird or a bird of prey.
It's always in the Daredex class too. It's the only.
Yep.
I mean, in TNG anyway.
Yeah.
And
And
DS9.
but we never get 12 Daredex classes in all of TNG. So this is like, yeah, and it's funny though, now that I think about it though, the Romulans are thinking like after the war, we may as well just get a base on Bajor. And then let's see how they get us out, because we're armed with trilithium missiles.
They do the same thing with Vulcan, where they just show up and they're like, well, make us leave. Well, they try to. They get stopped.
No. But there's a
Erase
thin
the
line between
words, Brother Benny.
there's a thin line between
Erase
prophecy
the
and
words, Brother Benny.
Yeah.
there's a thin line between prophecy and madness, and this episode is taking us there. Go Avery. Go Avery.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Oh, he's burying it. No, don't do it, Benny.
Okay. Within a day.
I just looked up the script for the Defector. It looks like he actually says the Warbird class starship.
Oh.
I could have sworn he said to Daredex.
Oh.
So I guess it's
have to
Warbird
find
class
it
in the
somewhere else
same way
now.
that early TOS ships were starship class.
Yeah.
Like the original Enterprise, the plaque says starship class.
Great.
Starship class.
A starship class. What class would that be?
And USS stood for United Starship.
I mean, United Spaceship sounds pretty dumb too.
Yeah.
They clearly just wanted to be USS because America, and they had to make something
yeah.
fit.
Yeah, United States ship. British ships are called HMS, Her Majesty's ship.
Or His Majesty's ship.
Right, but
Right now.
it
Her
hasn't been
Majesty's,
His
yes.
Majesty for like 60 years, like 80 years now. But
A
they must have
star.
that metaphasic shielding that we perfected in the 7th season of TNG.
I don't think they have metaphasic shielding. I think they're just burning.
Because they said like the point is to glow, and I don't think you want to absorb that much radiation from a sun.
Yeah, generally speaking, do not get this close to any star ever. This is instant death and
Right.
vaporization at this distance.
Yeah, and even
It's been
NASA.
the Corona.
Yeah, you're in that. Yeah, they're in the
Like-
corona for sure.
And they're like several million degrees
Yeah,
range.
Like-
yeah.
NASA has developed a ship to go to a probe to go to the sun, and it's painted in this like white paint that's so white that it's couple of thousand degrees cooler just on the side that's painted white.
That must be why I'm always cold, because I'm just so white.
And they also came out with a Vanta black paint. It's so black that like it doesn't give off any light basically.
Oh, is he going to erase the words, Brother Benny? No. Careful, Benny. Don't punch Casey Biggs like that. Opens. Cisco reaches for the what? For the orb. I was trying to read the writing. Cisco reaches for the orb, something, something. Opens the box.
And-
Paragraph above it was like Jake, Cisco, and Dax walk around aimlessly for an hour. So he could have just been writing. They find the orb, they go home, and bring Dax back to life.
The wormhole. It was missing for a whole 1 episode. So there's several triangles there. We're going to go back and count. I saw 4 just immediately.
What? Season 7 of DCS 9 is the best.
Now, I don't know if I would consider the prophets to be gods, but given that Kira does, this sure looks like a sign to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. Good observation, Ryan. And you're not even religious, but you got that.
And it's not exactly subtle. It's the main point of this scene.
Yeah, it's
I missed
this
that.
is it's a sledgehammer of a signal.
I have a degree in religion. I missed that. But I think I was just excited about the triangle ships.
They're very exciting.
These two are so unhappy. Like, I get why she's unhappy. Like, she's getting her moon taken away. But, like, why is Admiral Ross,
Also, I don't think
smashed?
this counts as a glorious battle since they're not firing back.
Yeah,
Hang on,
so
last time
all
you
our
let
he-
Worf give the command to fire. Why is now Quark doing it?
So Worf, Martok, Bashir, and Quark should all be dead in this episode, as of, like, right now. And O'Brien. They all died trying to give Dax honor, but now they're all in Stovacor.
Yeah, no, that bird of prey is dead. They're way too close to the star.
Our heroes died valiantly, trying to give honor to Jadzia.
Did they just make it go supernova if that's in orbit of a planet in the distance?
That's not even how coronal ejections work. even if they caused a solar flare with whatever.
That's more than a flare.
Yeah.
And they were in the corona. They weren't at the surface. They were in the corona. But that's worse.
It's hotter, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the surface of the sun's like 5,600 Kelvin. The corona's in the millions. Because it's the same sort of amount of energy as the surface, but there's a lot fewer particles, so each particle is way more energized.
Yeah. And there's so much gravity at the center of a star, like there's not really that much fusion. I mean, the fusion isn't happening that way.
The pressure at the core, yeah.
Yeah.
Technically speaking, there's no gravity at the center of a star.
So it wouldn't be as hot either. Wait, there's no gravity at the center of a star?
At the center of any spherical object, there's no gravity because you're being pulled equally in all directions. It all cancels out. There's pressure at the center from all the stuff being pushed down on you. Loads of pressure, but no gravity.
But gravity's equalized from the tension.
Yep. Well, there's nothing pulling you to the center. Gravity always tries to pull you to the center.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense. Okay.
Also, there's not no gravity. If there's any other body in the area, I mean, its effect will be weak, but it still has gravity. So, like, if you were at the center of the Earth, you would still be feeling the moon's gravity.
Okay.
Yeah,
yes,
no, but in others, you wouldn't be being
extremely
pulled down the
minimal.
way I am on the surface of the Earth, So, like, that's not the pull that we're talking about.
And here's a fun fact. Suppose you have a hollow spherical shell of whatever arbitrary thickness, it doesn't matter as long as it's not completely solid. If you're at any point within that shell, the gravity is always zero. It cancels out no matter where on the shell you are. Assuming it's a uniform shell.
Sorry, what is a shell? Like,
just imagine a giant, like, Earth-sized, like the Earth, but it's hollow.
Okay.
It's just a shell, and it's equally dense all around it. At any point within that shell, gravity is zero. Even if you're on, like, the inner surface of the shell, it's zero, because it always cancels out.
Vaseline. Dark shadows. Harsh shadows.
The Cisco must face many tasks. I mean, they said a couple episodes his task was done. They're just giving him more tasks. This wasn't part of the deal.
Don't you hate that?
Yeah. It ain't easy being a Bajoran prophet.
The Cisco just got bait and switched.
The
Cisco wants a straight answer.
The Cisco can check out anytime he likes, but he can never leave.
Welcome to the wormhole, California.
So Cisco is half prophet in the same way that Jesus is half God, in that
Yeah.
he was technically he has human parents, but I mean he was also like impregnated by the midichlorians. So he's in the same way that Anakin Skywalker is half Force.
Right. You're totally right. Because, like, yeah, that's true. The prophets basically sent this woman and the necklace to give Grandpa Cisco the clue to get them to go to the Mojave.
But then it's also somewhat unclear if Jesus is half God or full God. It's sometimes he talks about himself in the third person, and then sometimes he's like, "No, I am God." Come on, which is it?
I'm united with the Father. Yeah,
Make up your mind, man.
No, but you're right. Though Benjamin Cisco is divinely born. This episode establishes it.
So is he technically 1/3 prophet because he has 3 parents?
This
A mother, he has the mother, the follower, the mother, the father, and the Holy Spirit are his parents. The Holy Bajoran Spirit.
You're right. And but this means, okay, that's the orb of the emissary. That means that like thousands of years ago, when the Bajoran prophets, wormhole aliens, sent out the orbs, they knew that they were going to create Ben Cisco.
Look at that! Look at that shot! Look at that framing! Very
last season-y.
No, not Star Trek. I'm trying to think of what's it even called? The kind of show that people say the Enterprise theme fits in. Brady Bunch, that kind of thing.
Sitcom?
Yeah, very sitcom. That's the word.
Okay. Yeah, for sure.
That's a bit much. I wouldn't say it's a sitcom.
No, the shot he said
where everyone's like leaning into each other.
Yeah,
and looking at the camera.
Cheers, Friends, Frasier.
All right, now it's time to scroll back and look at that fleet. If I can find it. It's here somewhere.
This was a great stream, guys. I'll tell you that. It's been weeks since we had a stream as good as this.
Wow.
What's that supposed to mean?
No, it means all your streams are crap besides this one, Brian.
The triangle ships.
I mean, I thought yesterday's was a little weak, but I wouldn't go so far as to say it was trash. Jeez.
Listen, I enjoy all your streams, Ryan. I just thought I'd join you guys today because I saw that it was relatively quiet in the channel.
All right, let's count the ships. 1 triangle, 2 triangles.
Hey, Kevin.
3 triangles.
We
4
got like 8
triangles
going on.
4 triangles.
Is that a triangle? I think that's a triangle there.
Wait,
it's hard to
tell. Are these CGI triangles?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's definitely 1, 2, 3, 4, but then there's this one here that I'm not sure about. Let me get a screenshot. Well, let me see if I can get a better angle. No, not you, Kira. Nobody cares about you. I'm here for the triangle.
Yeah.
I mean, she's running that fleet, so she's the boss right now. She's the star of this episode.
Okay, so it's after this bit.
You know, Cisco finding about the circumstances of his birth, that's just like tangential. We got Kira leading a triangle fleet.
This is that same ship. I can tell from the shape, but it's at a different angle. And I think that's not a triangle. I think that's something else.
Mm-hmm. And then there's 3 other triangles.
Oh, wait, there was 1, 2, 3, and then there was one just went off camera. Hang on, let me get back. Okay, 1, 2. Nope, that was the wrong button. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 triangles. All right, we're up to 48. Had to make sure. We have to have an accurate triangle count.
Of course. Otherwise, what are we doing here?
What's the point?
It's on the top right-hand corner of the screen, okay? So.
Also, apparently, Odo is reading a Mike Hammer mystery, Kiss Me Deadly. A Mike Hammer mystery you might remember from the episode where Odo and Quark crashed on that ice planet, the snow planet. He was reading a Mike Hammer mystery there.
Wow.
Nice.
We're doing some continuity here about Odo's trashy romance novels.
He could have just gone with the Agatha Christie.
He could have read Twilight.
They didn't have that back then.
Mike Hammer books are real, by the way. It's not just something they made up for the show.
It sounds
really?
made up.
Nope, they're from the late 40s, early 50s.
Huh? That's
Okay.
funny.
Let's
It's
see.
like-
Mike
Are
Hammer.
these real titles?
Mike Hammer is a fictional character created by the American author Mickey Spillane. Hammer debuted in the 1947 book I, The Jury. Hammer is a no-holds-barred private investigator who carries a Colt 45, whatever, and a shoulder holster under his arm. Okay.
Ryan, you have to put 47 triangles in the chat. Just
48 triangles.
Sorry to take away from the Mike Hammer.
That means
But,
we need
it's-
46 more.
Dixon Hill, right? Like, is that real?
No, Dixon Hill was created wholesale for
Okay.
Star Trek.
Okay. I mean, Dick Tracy was real, so I think it's basically that.
I mean, yeah, it's clearly there's a whole genre. It was
Okay,
based on.
that's all the triangles we have.
Okay, thank you.
That's all
Woo!
the triangles we found.
We almost got a fleet to take on a warbird.
That's it.
Pulp detectives such as Sam Spade are hard-boiled and cynical. Hammer is, in many ways, the archetypal hard man. Brutally violent and filled by a genuine rage against violent crime, so he is a psychopath.
Yeah.
All right,
Describes
someone in the
himself to a
chat-
bar girl as a misanthrope. Admitted that Hammer was loosely based on Race Williams. Most frequently used detective character. So far as violence is concerned, the Hammer novels leave little to the imagination. Written in the first person,
Wow.
Hammer describes his violent encounters with relish. So yeah, he's a psychopath. Hammer's victims are often left vomiting after a blow to the stomach or groin. What's wrong with you, man?
Oh, great.
Isn't he a cop?
What? What?
Sounds like a private eye. Just, yeah,
That's not
just,
in my Star Trek, like gore and blood.
yeah.
His love for his secretary Velda is outweighed only by his willingness to kill a killer.
Okay, so he's Dexter.
Yeah, he's a private investigator.
Somebody pointed out in chat Cockery that Dick Tracy was a cop, not a private investigator. So I'm an idiot for not knowing the difference between a cop and a private investigator.
Okay. So, yeah, it sounds like Mike Hammer is just an awful person who is only a private investigator, so he gets to kill people with immunity. Beat and kill people and get away with
At
it.
least he loves his secretary.
I get the feeling that he loves his secretary in a way that wouldn't fly today.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually against you.
Now, I haven't read it, so I can't confirm that. But
No, you're right.
there's
It's not
probably
acceptable.
more than a little objectification going on.
Yeah, you can't consent when someone's paying your salary and your rent. So
Anyway, that's it for today. We're done. And
Oh, yeah.
no, that's it.
Sorry.
Now
Next
you're
week,
free to
TNG.
go.
Next week, D69.
Don't worry about it. You're free to go.
Okay. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you, chat.
Next
Thank you,
week is
Ryan.
just the next episode. It's fine.
Okay. Thank you, Negus. Nice to meet you.
Have a good one, y'all. Nice